It's tough trying to balance homework and practice, but I feel like our coaches stress academics to a point where you have to succeed. I'm actually a hometown kid. I grew up in Elmhurst. When the football team approached me, it was kind of like a lock, you know? I get to go to school in my hometown, play football. When you get to play something that you love, along with getting that education, it's priceless. Coming here, I was just surprised at how close everybody is on campus. I know pretty much everybody in terms of athletics on the campus. You will not want to leave this place come senior year. I'm going to live up this last year that I got for everything it's worth.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Langhorst Field on the campus of Elmhurst College. Tim Calderwood with you alongside Tony Menestra for another Saturday afternoon football matinee. Elmhurst will take on Millikin University today. The Blue Jays enter the matchup sitting at 3-3. Guess what? The identical record for Millikin as well. Both teams trying to put behind a difficult week. Last week, Millikin lost to North Central. Elmhurst lost to Illinois Wesleyan, as both teams faced nationally ranked foes. And Elmhurst has won the toss. The Blue Jays will receive here. Tony, I think, talking about this game, well, Millikin ranks last in the CCIW in rushing defense. Scotty Williams, the CCIW leader in rushing yards, not just by a little, but by almost 300 yards he leads the CCIW. Expect a healthy dose of number 20 here today.
Yeah, and he got off to a slow start to start the season, did Williams, but he's got 123 carries at this point through 6 games. How about 778 yards and 5 touchdowns? He's averaging 6.3 yards every time he touches the ball from scrimmage. So you're not kidding about it. Get Scotty Williams the ball early and often, and I think against this Millikin defense, that's the plan today.
Rodney Payton and John Janis are deep to receive the opening kick. From Austin Brett Schneider, it is short. Rodney Payton handles it from the 18. Payton off the right side will cross the 30 and reach the 32-yard line as Elmhurst offense takes the field for the first time. Let's meet the Elmhurst offense. Left tackle, Charlie Hamaki. Left guard, Brett Virgil. Chris Kirkpatrick, the center. Peter Stamos at right guard. Adam Smith, the right tackle. Wide receivers, Rodney Payton, Chase Hamby, and Joe St. Peter. Scotty Williams is the running back, and Joe Furco, the quarterback. They're waiting to spot the chains here as Elmhurst opens 1st and 10, moving right to left in the blue uniforms.
Well, on paper, as you start to evaluate the Jays here coming into their 7th game of the season, you look at the offense and you think, well, you wonder how they're 3-3. Scoring offense ranks 2nd in the conference. Passing offense is 3rd. Rushing offense is 3rd. Total offense 2nd. They're near the top of all the major offensive categories in the CCIW, but yet they've not been able to translate them into consistent winning efforts. The Jays will have to be consistent today. They'll be led by Furco to start.
Pistol formation for the Blue Jays to open. Millikin shifty up front. The Big Blue on defense run a 3-4 look. They'll try to slow down Scotty Williams, who receives the first give and has a first down on the first play of the game, picking up 14 yards out to the 45-yard line.
Well, one of the first things we see out of Millikin is an 8-man front. And if you go 8-man box against the Jays, that's asking Furco to put it over the top. Now, he has not been able to capitalize in the last couple of weeks. But if they're going to go 3 deep or man-to-man coverage, he's got to challenge the secondary.
778 yards rushing for Scotty Williams to go along with 5 touchdowns, an average of just under 130 yards a game. He'll receive it again and pick up 5 yards. Crossing midfield, continues to move down to the Millikin 48-yard line, a gain of 7.
Well, the scouting report on the offense is pretty simple in the run game. It's zone blocking all day for Scotty Williams. Inside, outside zone. They'll run a little counter game to that, but pretty simple up front. It's just been the execution, and specifically on the left side of the line with Millikin and Virgil.
2nd and 3 for the Blue Jays. Opening quarter, opening possession for Elmhurst. Vince Gabrus in motion to the right side. Scotty Williams again with another first down, gaining 4, crossing the 45 to the 44. And I think Elmhurst today, Tony, will be content putting the ball in the belly of Scotty Williams over and over and over and over.
No doubt about it. And they were really tested last week against a very strong Illinois Wesleyan defense, but Williams was able to still get his yards. It's where are the other yards going to come from?
Elmhurst held well below their season average in total yards a week ago. It's again Gabrus in motion. Scotty Williams off the right side, upended after a pickup of 2. Blue Jays last week totaling just 249 yards of offense. Let's take a second look at the upending here.
Well, that's Cody Ackery, the strong safety coming down for Millikin. You're going to hear a lot about these safeties. Their free safety, Nick Kronmiller, a senior captain, is near the top of the CCIW in tackles. He's got 60, so he'll be playing downhill all day against Williams in this rushing attack.
If I had to guess, we'll see a lot of those safeties cheating up, which could open things downfield for Furco. Handoff to Griffin Gibson, and Gibson will pick up 8 yards near the first down marker at to the 36.
Little veer look here, and the Jays have not run this in the past couple of weeks, but it was a part of their package early in the season. Griffin Gibson, a very versatile player. You'll see him out of the backfield a little bit. That time taking the veer handoff, setting up a 3rd and short.
3rd and 1 for the Blue Jays. Scotty Williams in back of Joe Furco. And he's straight ahead for the first down. Defensively, Millikin with Brian Wolf and Eric Lewis Charles as the defensive ends. Jake Weston is the tackle in the middle. Mitchell Caffey, the linebacker, along with Marquette Moore, Keith Burzak, and Jake Hazelton. The corners, Daniel Fischel and Sonny Rollins. Strong safety, Cody Acree. Free safety, Nick Kronmiller, who have both been busy here early in the contest on a picture-perfect Saturday afternoon. Game time conditions, 60 degrees. Mostly sunny skies, wind out of the southwest at 10 miles per. Guess what? More of Scotty Williams with an opening. Williams, as a flag comes in late, will pick up a first down inside the 25, but the flag is for a hold against Elmhurst to back up the Blue Jays.
Well, as you start to dissect the numbers on the Millikin side of the ball, as you get another look at Scotty, yes, they're giving up 411 yards a game. 197th in the country, but you look at the points they've surrendered in the CCIW. Against Augustana, 27. Carthage put up 40. North Central put up 61 on October 15th. So the Big Blue are really getting gashed defensively here, setting up a long 1st and 20. The Jays are going to have to score some points today.
10 yards from the spot, so it's actually an 11-yard penalty charge to the Blue Jays. Furco, for the first time through the air, in the flat, dumping off to Rodney Payton, who could not hang on. 2nd and 21. And another number that stands out when you look at the matchup in this contest, the numbers between these two teams. Millikin averaging 29.2 points per game. Elmhurst second in the CCIW at 38.7. We could see a lot of points on the scoreboard today. Both teams are also near the bottom in scoring defense, with Millikin averaging under 32 yards. A huge opening for Williams. Still on his feet. Falls forward inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
Well, what a talent this junior tailback is. Scotty Williams finds the crease. Great vision to cut it downfield, and the explosion by Williams to get through. How about this? Scotty's ranked 13th in the country in rushing yardage. He's averaging almost 130 yards a game. He leads North Central's Jordan Tassio by almost 45 yards, who's in 2nd in the CCIW.
Some more Williams off the left edge. Wrestled to the ground by Mitchell Caffey. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, perhaps a loss of a yard on the play. 4th down for the Blue Jays. You keep the offense on. It looks like Elmhurst isn't even thinking about it here.
Well, you've got Trevor Spalding as a kicker. He's perfect, 7 for 7 on the year, but this may be a little bit out of his reach. little bit of a conservative call there by Coach Lester.
Wind blowing across the field here at Langhorse today. A 4th and 5 for Elmhurst from the Millikin 29-yard line.
It's man-to-man.
Furco, incomplete over the middle. Never took his eyes off of the intended target, Griffin Gibson. Some great coverage on him from the linebacker, Keith Burzak.
As we get another look at it here, Furco with all kinds of time, and that's been one of the problems this year. We have not seen Furco progress to the point where he can read and check down to his number 2 and his number 3 receivers here. They've been very simplistic in the passing game and not able to convert there.
Well, a good series for Elmhurst, netting 50 yards, all from Scotty Williams, but nothing to show for it as the Blue Jays turn it over on downs. Millikin takes over with 10:17 to play in the first quarter in a scoreless game. First look at Matt Holmes, the quarterback for Millikin. He will run an option, hand it off straight ahead to the running back Tyler Roush, who is met immediately. Matt Holmes, a 5'10 junior. He's the starting cornerback. Running back is Tyler Roush. Receivers, Eric Tobey, Tommy Eichenauer, and Jake Palmer. On the offensive line, Brad Rucker, left tackle, Ethan King, left guard, Tyler Fallbush, the center, Eric Whitaker, the right guard, and Dustin Moore is the right tackle. There is also a tight end in the formation for the Big Blue. Their tight end, big number 88, Chris Natoroway. Roush again, met immediately. Very little, maybe a couple on the play.
Well, you'll see a little bit of a version of the pistol here, which you see quite a bit with the Jays, this time running a straight isolation play. Tim, I got to tell you, what jumps off the page as you're looking through the roster of Millikin, how about the size of some of these offensive linemen? 6'7", 275, 6 foot 305, and their big right tackle, Dustin Moore, is 6'6", 280.
Millikin had a coaching change in the offseason. Patrick Etherton, a longtime assistant for the Big Blue, is now the head coach. Shotgun formation. Holmes to pass. Now keeps with an opening. A lot of room. Holmes directing his blockers. Stutter steps in, reaching midfield. Jamal Lane with the initial hit, but a big gainer up the middle for the Millikin quarterback.
Well, nothing new for Holmes here. He's second on the team in rushing yardage, first in rushing attempts. He's got 82 carries for 365 and 8 touchdowns. As he takes a look at his single read on the backside, and he's gone with it. Not so sure that wasn't even just a planned quarterback draw.
1st and 10 for the Big Blue. Elmhurst, second in the CCIW in rushing defense, allowing just over 100 yards per game. North Central leads the CCIW. They are under 100 yards per. Big game today down in Bloomington. North Central and Illinois Wesleyan, perhaps to decide the CCIW crown. Straight ahead for Roush, who fumbled. Ball is loose. Elmhurst claiming they have the ball. They'll unload the pile. A lot of extracurricular activity going on, as you might expect in a pile-on, to try to see who has the ball. We do not have a signal of yet. Now Millikin is claiming they have recovered, and indeed they have. The Big Blue will hang on to the football. Let's get a look at the replay.
Millikin retains possession.
Just a scrum down there, right on top of the EC Shield. Millikin has not taken good care of the football. They're near the bottom of the CCIW in turnover margin, while the Jays are +5. They've done a nice job of protecting the football and taking it away.
Looked like Ryan Johnson with his helmet on the ball, popped it away from Roush. Speaking of the Elmhurst defense, we'll provide it for you in moments. A 2nd and 5 for the Big Blue on the Elmhurst side of the field. Handoff straight ahead to the new running back. That is Dunning. And Dunning on his feet, straight ahead to pick up the first down. Sean Dunning, a hometown product out of Decatur and a freshman for Millikin.
A little unbalanced look here, and they run the inside veer out of the pistol. Just getting downhill on the Jays.
Nice open field tackle from Charlie Roberts, who's at one end along with Dan Vicari. Peter Alfano in the middle. The Blue Jays with 3 linebackers, Ryan McGuire, George DeMaria, and Wayne Tuxon. The safeties, John Janis, Ryan Johnson, and John Gruchot. Mark Evangelista and Jamal Lane are the corners. Holmes throwing over the middle, incomplete. Looked like he was almost aiming for Jamal Lane because he had inside coverage the entire way on Eric Tobey.
Well, it's a 4-vert look. They're running it against cover 3. Holmes not able to find his receiver that time. Lane in better position than his receiver. But Holmes is just a slight quarterback. He's 5'10", 180. So perhaps the passing lane's not as clear for him.
Dunning is the back behind Holmes. Trips to the near side. A keeper for Holmes. Straight ahead for 4 yards, just shy of the 35.
And this is where the Jays really struggled a week ago against Wesleyan. Really hanging in there as you get another look at the quarterback power play. Jays were hanging close for a half, but in the third quarter, they could not get off the field on third down. In particular, the second drive of the third quarter where Wesleyan converted 4 third down conversions to score and put the game away.
3rd and 6 for Millikin. Possibly 4 down territory here for the Big Blue as well.
It looks like man-to-man coverage for the Jays.
Holmes receives the snap. Hands off and a huge hole for Dunning. Dunning with a first down and more to the 25-yard line.
Well, take a look what the Big Blue did here formationally. They pulled the safeties out of the box. As you get a look on the lower half of your screen, that opens some running room inside. The backers are not able to step up and make a play. Forces Johnson to come in and make the tackle down the field. First down for the Big Blue.
Well, an interesting note in this matchup, each of the last 7 years, the visiting team has won between Elmhurst and Millikin. Elmhurst winning in Decatur 05, 07, 08, and last year. Millikin winning here in Elmhurst 2004, 2006, and 2009. Holmes with a broken play to the back of the end zone for the touchdown. Play kind of developed away from Holmes. Eichenauer raced towards the corner as the Blue Jays came in to guard against the keep, and it was a wide open touchdown for Millikin, who strikes first here in the opening quarter.
Well, it's the scramble drill for the secondary, and you're taught this from a very early point in the season, that anytime you get a quarterback on the run who breaks contain, lock up with any white jerseys or opponents that are near you. That time Johnson and Evangelista were both in the area, but not in a position to make a play.
Another note about the series, the last 5 meetings all decided by 6 points or less. So expect a close one here today as well. It's Millikin on the board first. Austin Brettschneider with the extra point. It's through 7-0 Millikin with the lead. 6:09 to play first quarter.
Early on, you get to see Holmes' mobility causing a problem for the Jays. We'll get a look at it here. 3-by-1 formation. It's the escapability of the junior quarterback that makes this play. Bakari not able to hunt him down.
Great job on the play as well from Eichenauer, breaking towards the back of the end zone to find himself wide open. Just the second touchdown catch of the year for Tommy Eichenauer and his 18th reception of the season. Covering 25 yards as the Big Blue open the scoring here today.
Well, a different approach for the Jays a year ago. You mentioned the 6-point victory. They had a 40-15 lead in the fourth quarter down in Decatur a year ago, and it was a big day for Joe Furco. 28-48 for 377. He's not going to be asked to throw the ball that many times today. But the Big Blue out on top this season.
Brettschneider with the kick for the Big Blue, very short. It'll be taken at the 25-yard line by an upback. Ryan McGuire will gain 10 on the return, crossing the 35 to the 36, where the Blue Jays take over. Perhaps a way to design and keep the ball out of the hands of some of those Elmhurst playmakers.
Yeah, and Rodney Payton in particular. You know, offensively, Rodney's climbing the ranks. He's 13th in receptions all time here at the college.
1st and 10 for the Blue Jays. Option left. Furco fakes the pitch, keeps himself, and gains 8 yards. Great deke by Joe Furco. We'll get a second look here in a moment.
Take a look at the shoulder fake here if you can. They run a little veer game and dips the shoulder to Scotty and lowers the shoulder himself on the linebacker.
I think if you're Millikin, you're going to be keying on Scotty Williams.
Sure.
So for Furco to be able to pick up 8 yards there.
I think Brian Wolf was a little bit surprised that Furco decided to tuck it.
Furco will send Gibson in motion. Scotty Williams straight ahead, leapfrogs his way onto the Millikin side of the 49-yard line.
Well, he is just so explosive once he hits his crease. He's so decisive, too. In the zone running game, you can cut it back, hit the crease, or bounce it outside, and watch Scotty as he decides, gets his shoulder square, and he is downfield in a hurry.
Daniel Fischel credited with the stop. 1st and 10 for the Blue Jays. They're on the Millikin side for the second consecutive time. Tony, this was something we noticed last week, though. Elmhurst had very many opportunities early on the Illinois Wesleyan side of the field, but couldn't turn it into points. Coming up on 5 minutes to play in the first quarter, 7-0 Millikin. Furco will dump it off to Scotty Williams, who bobbles initially and will be shoved out of bounds after a gain of only a yard. Daniel Fischel again leading the way for Millikin defensively.
Yeah, and I think Fischel got the worst end of that. Check out Scotty here, finish the play, although it's a minimal gain, if any, for Williams. He's the one that delivers the blow. Boom.
Jacob Alvis also in on the stop for Millikin. Call it a gain of 2. 2nd and 8 for the Blue Jays with 4:29 to play in this first quarter. Second offensive possession for Elmhurst. They marched 50 yards on the first possession but came up empty. Millikin 71 yards down the field, opening the scoring as Matt Holmes connected with Tommy Eichenauer on a 25-yard touchdown, and we've got a timeout. Elmhurst will spend a timeout with 4:12 to play in the opening quarter, trailing 7-0.
Head coach Tim Lester, his coaching staff, and the entire Elmhurst College football team would like to invite you to attend the 2012 second annual.
Tim Lester will gather the troops along that near side and talk things over here. Both teams are moving the ball here early on, Tony.
Yep. Yeah, we thought we'd see that a little bit today. The Jays' defense has really struggled of late. I think it started with the Wheaton game, where in the first 6 possessions, the Thunder were able to score on consecutive possessions to start the game, and it just sort of dovetailed into last week with the Illinois Wesleyan and not able to get off the field. Today already trailing 7-0 to the Big Blue.
Let's take a look at the CCIW standings entering play today. We'll also set the stage for the other contests today. Illinois Wesleyan and North Central tied at 3-0 atop the standings. Wheaton sits 2-1. North Central is playing Illinois Wesleyan today. That will start in about 3 or 4 minutes. North Central also still has to face Wheaton this year. Carthage, Elmhurst, Millikin, Augustana, all 1-2. North Park 0-3.
Well, this is a big separation game for both teams, Elmhurst and Millikin. What direction is your season going to go in here? Both at 3-3.
Furco flushed from the pocket. Squares his shoulders, and Rodney Payton flat dropped it. A penalty flag is on the field on the far side. We'll await the decision of the call here. Other games, we mentioned North Central at Illinois Wesleyan. North Park seeking CCIW victory number 1 there at Augustana. And tonight under the lights in Kenosha, Wheaton is at Carthage. It's an illegal formation call against the Blue Jays.
Tim, the Jays have really done a nice job this year correcting mistakes that have lingered over the last couple of seasons in terms of penalty yardage. They're second in the CCIW in terms of least yardage per game, only about 40 yards a game in penalty yardage. We've seen 15 so far today. They'll have to limit those mistakes to keep Furco in manageable third down position.
4:05 first quarter, 7-0 Millikin with the lead. The Big Blue will decline the penalty and set up a third down.
Millikin has declined the penalty. Third down facing the Blue Jays.
3rd and 8 for Elmhurst from the Millikin 47-yard line. They had already marked off the penalty. Whoops. The officiating crew today: Ralph Carey, the referee; Steve Doty, the umpire; George Schinkin, the linesman; Ron Tomzak, the line judge; Randy Weisenhofer, side judge; Gary Polanyi, the field judge; and Marty Mallon is the back judge. The CCIW officiating crew. 3rd and 8, clock running with 4 minutes to play.
And Tim, the Big Blue have not been particularly successful on third down, 7th in the conference, giving up third down conversions.
Furco dropping. Stepping right, underthrows Joe St. Peter, who came back, and it'll airmail St. Peter. Incomplete. Punting time for the Blue Jays.
Well, Furco checking the play here. He just does not look comfortable and has not looked comfortable over the past couple of weeks. Pretty good protection as he's had all year. As you say, just airmails it over St. Peter and just looks a little out of sorts, does the junior signal caller.
Well, Joe Furco is going to stay on the field, and he will double as the punter for Elmhurst. We've seen this throughout the season. Furco's actually a darn good punter, if I do say so. Joe Furco on the season, averaging almost 37 yards a kick, and this is another beauty. Back to the 12-yard line. A fair catch is called for by Blakely. And Millikin will take over deep in their own territory.
Well, the defense has got to develop some form of an identity here. They have sort of allowed offenses in the last couple of weeks to dictate the pace. They've not brought a lot of pressure. Been very poor on third down. They have got to turn things around here today.
1st and 10 for the Big Blue with 3:42 to play in the first quarter. Millikin leading 7-0. 2 possessions for Elmhurst. Twice onto the Millikin side, but 0 points. Holmes stutter steps initially as he hesitates and keeps ahead of the 27-yard line.
Ryan Johnson, the invert safety, makes a great play on this one, fitting the outside. Play on it as if we get another look here. Holmes will run a lot of this quarterback draw, quarterback power look. This time they pull the backside guard. Johnson does a great job fitting it up, forcing it inside.
Pick of 4 on the play. 2nd and 6. Holmes waits for the last moment before putting it in the belly of the running back, Dunning. And Dunning reaches the 20-yard line, a gain of 2, and it's 3rd and 3.
And this is quite simply the read option. They're reading the defensive end, which is Vicari on this play. Holds his ground there, forces the give, sets up a 3rd down.
Some personnel changes as Holmes checks out the plays written on his wrist. Dunning remains in the backfield. A 4 wide receiver look. Holmes on a keeper, straight ahead, gains the 1st down and more out to the 28-yard line.
Well, this is the game plan for the Big Blue today. Spread out the Elmhurst defense and create some creases in there. Give a little space to their running game. That time a design keep by the quarterback.
Holmes, a very mobile quarterback. Now, Elmhurst did see a mobile quarterback against North Park, but that was a completely different look.
Sure.
North Park ran more of a standard power wing T formation. They'll try a little trickery here. Stepping up to throw is Eric Toby, and it's incomplete. There's a reason why wide receivers do not throw the ball.
Well, even if he had gotten it out there a bit, his receiver was blanketed. Both Chikungal and the backside corner Evangelista had the play diagnosed.
There wasn't even a receiver around.
Goodness gracious. Looks like he was going for Tommy Eichenauer on the deep post. Just not enough muscle on it.
Second and 10. Not a bad idea, though, on 1st down to throw a new wrinkle. Option for Holmes. He will keep and is hit behind the line of scrimmage.
This is where the Jays need to make their hay here on 2nd and long. You can't set up a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4 situation. Force Holmes to put back in the pocket. Take a look at it here. Great pursuit by the defense. You got to give him a 3rd and long.
Wayne Tuckson in there, along with Charlie Roberts defensively. And it is a 3rd and 11 for Millikin with 1:33 to play in the first quarter.
Well, you called Wayne's name there, and he's been the leader of this defense. He's first in tackles, 53 by almost 20 tackles. He's got 8 behind the line of scrimmage and 2 sacks to go along with it.
Passing situation, pressure from Tuckson again. Holmes avoids, flips it off to Dunning, and a whole lot of room in front. Dunning will cross midfield. He's finally wrapped up at the Elmhurst 48.
Heads up play by the quarterback that time, able to shuffle it forward, and Dunning is able to find some green space. Take a look at it. Tuckson first man through. Heads up play by the quarterback.
25 yards on the completion. Millikin with a minute to play in the first quarter, up a touchdown and moving again on the Elmhurst defense. Play clock is at 10 for Holmes. Out of the pistol. Pressured. Hit by Roberts and dropped at the 45-yard line.
Well, great read by the young defensive end, Charlie Roberts. Take a look at it here. They run a little veer package. Play action off it this time. It's a nice compliment to their run game. Charlie Roberts is not fooled.
Roberts, a sophomore for the Blue Jays, collecting the sack. And with 20 seconds to play in the quarter, Millikin will have to get a playoff before the quarter expires. Holmes rolling left, throwing over the middle. He has Toby, and Toby reaches the 46-yard line, back to the original line of scrimmage as the first quarter comes to a close.
Well, you see here they cut the field in half, make the read a little bit easier for Holmes. Sets up a third and manageable.
1 quarter in the books, 7-0 Millikin in front as we break on Blue Jay TV. As we open the second quarter, Millikin with a 7-0 advantage. It is a 3rd and 7 for the Big Blue on the Elmhurst side of the field, the 45-yard line. We'll take a look at first quarter numbers in a moment. Holmes dropping to pass, looking right, throwing high, catches made, and a good containment on the play by the Blue Jays as Ryan McGuire will shove the receiver out of bounds. Jake Palmer with the grab.
Well, Holmes doesn't have a particularly strong arm. That time floated it out on the far out route. Jays have got to make a play on the ball there in the air.
And he's short of the first down at the 41-yard line. It is a 4th and 3, and on comes the punt team for Millikin. First time today, we will have a look at the Big Blues punting units. Led by Vitaly Kulik. Line drive kick, skipping at the 15, continuing to roll down near the goal line. And they will down it inside the 1. Great coverage by the Big Blue.
Wow. Well, Patrick Etherton in his first year as a Big Blue coach has got to love this. Play a little field position with it. Take a look at it. A little dribbler down to the 1.
Diving right on top of it to down it at the 1. Bo Fischel with the diving play, and the Blue Jays will have 99 yards to travel to try and tie the game with 14:32 to play in the opening half.
Well, we've mentioned multiple times statistically how successful the Jays have been offensively. 99 yards will test them here.
Furco stands 5 yards into the end zone. Scotty Williams 2 yards further. It is Williams straight ahead, and he is hit at the line of scrimmage, gains maybe a yard. First quarter numbers. Millikin 17 plays, 113 yards. Elmhurst 15 plays, 67 yards. Most of the damage for the Blue Jays on the ground, 65 yards rushing, 2 yards passing. Millikin a nice balance, 55 rushing, 58 through the air. Scotty Williams, 8 touches in the first quarter for 50 yards, a long of 17, 6.2 yards per carry. Matt Holmes leading Millikin, 6 carries, 29 yards for the junior quarterback. 2nd and 9, Furco with a pump fake. And it's batted down at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Joe Furco just 1 for 5 in the first quarter.
Yeah, and he just seems uncomfortable here. Plenty of time. The offensive line, again, doing a terrific job. It's a pump and rip it look there. And even if he had found Rodney Payton, which it looked like he was going backside, there was certainly coverage.
Looked like it was batted down by Brian Wolf, a 6'1", 250-pound freshman for the Big Blue. 3rd down and 9 from the 2. Gabris in motion. Scotty Williams straight ahead and nothing there. Close to the 5-yard line, and on comes the punt unit.
Well, Tim, as you take a look at the cutback here by Williams, one of the big problems this offense has had to endure the past couple of weeks in particular is just no explosiveness in the passing game. They're finding all their big plays on the ground, and very difficult to find a crease against an 8-man front consistently. I understand that Scotty Williams is one of the most dynamic players in the conference and in the country, but you've got to find some help for him.
Joe Furco's first punt today covered 34 yards. He's at the back of the end zone, and a high kick angling towards the far sideline is dropped initially and recovered by Mike Blakely at the 40. Blakely stays in bounds and works his way down to the 33-yard line.
Well, Furco makes the best of a bad situation here. Terrific hang time allows his coverage unit to get down the field a bit and corners it into the sideline, the big blue sideline there. Millikin will still start on the other side of the 40.
Solid field position for the Big Blue with 13:03 to play in the half, looking to build on a 7-0 advantage. Bowers in motion, Dunning the give, Dunning with a huge hole. Dunning down the sideline, Jamal Lane trying to strip, pushes him out of bounds inside the 10 at the 8-yard line.
Well, the road team coming in pretty confident here today and able to road grade the defense here a little bit. Finds a seam between the right guard and the center. Dunning sets up a big first down inside the 10. Well, a little bit of a startling stat here, Tim. In Elmhurst's 3 losses, they've been trailing going into the second quarter in each contest.
Trailing by a touchdown here, potentially more. It's Dunning again straight ahead to the 5-yard line. Massey among the tacklers along with Ryan Johnson.
Well, the defense has been on the field quite a bit already, and last week it was more self-inflicted, but this week it's the offense's inability to convert first downs and stay on the field.
2nd and goal in the first quarter. Millikin with 7:50 for time of possession. Fade to the corner. What a catch. Toby makes the catch for the touchdown. Blue Jays can't believe there was no offensive pass interference call, but Holmes has thrown 2 touchdowns in the first half of the game, and Millikin is up 2 scores.
Well, they get one-on-one coverage with Evangelista there, and Toby's got a little bit of a height advantage. He's 6'1", 201 going against Evangelista. 5'8", 160 as he's listed in the program. A little bit of an arm bar by Toby, but official lets it go.
Eric Toby, the leading receiver for the Big Blue this year. Snares his 4th touchdown grab. Extra point, a line drive, good. 14-0 Millikin with the advantage. Both through the air as Brett Schneider adds the PAT. Here's the touchdown, and let's look for that contact perhaps coming in the corner. Almost like a little bit of a stiff arm to keep the distance.
Well, you've got 2 routes you have to defend down there as a corner, the inside slant and the fade route. Obviously, the slant's a little bit easier. Toss for the quarterback, so you play an inside shade. Receiver that time electing to go to the edge.
Second quarter score, Augustana 7, North Park nothing down in Rock Island today. Eric Chandler with a touchdown moments ago.
Interesting matchup there. Augie, of course, of longtime wishbone and wing tee fame, going up against a primarily option attack in North Park.
North Central moving the ball down to the Illinois Wesleyan 14-yard line on their first possession, the opening possession of the game down in Bloomington. And we have a new quarterback warming up on the sidelines for Elmhurst. It is Joe Camilleri, the freshman out of Caneland High School. This is an awful kick out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Straight in the air off the foot of Austin Brett Schneider, the freshman for Millikin. And Elmhurst will end up with some solid field position here.
Well, we may see Camilleri here on this drive, and just really not a lot of pace, not a lot of excitement, not a lot of energy in the offense. We'll see if the young signal caller can ignite a fire in this Blue Jay attack.
Camilleri in for the Blue Jays as the quarterback. Camilleri has played in 1 game this year. He completed his only pass. He is a freshman out of Sugar Grove. calling for motion, handing off to Gibson. And Gibson off the veer, works his way to the 43.
Well, in talking to the coaches before the game, we thought we might see a little bit of Camilleri as he runs the veer here, and he's a little bit more mobile than what Furco is, but
2nd and 6 for the Blue Jays with 11:35 to play in the first half, trailing 14-0.
And you're just looking for a spark here in the offense. It's an explosive unit. You've got to get things going here.
Camilleri examining the alignment. A little bit of a low snap. He'll step up, throw his hit as he throws. Incomplete, looking for Josh Gentile, another freshman.
Starting things easy for Camilleri here. An easy read on the veer. Little 3-step drop. Not able to connect. This isn't a terribly complex offense, so I can't imagine that Camilleri is going to be limited today in his play calling. But now we're in the 7th week. You talk about all of summer camp. He's had plenty of time to digest the playbook.
3rd and 6. Elmhurst trying to avoid their second consecutive 3-and-out. Heat coming initially from Charles. It's a dump off to Andrew Tubeck. Tubeck with a huge opening on the Millikin side to the 38-yard line as a flag comes in late.
Well, it came from the back judge here, and they may be getting contact downfield.
Pressure coming at the feet. Camilleri feels it and just dumps it off. It is a penalty against the Blue Jays.
Well, it's a spot penalty, so it'll be interesting to see what the 3rd down situation here is. Good call to get the young quarterback into the game here, get him into the flow.
It is a 1st down after the penalty, 10 yards from the spot. Penalty came downfield. The spot is now the Millikin 49 as Camilleri directs the offense.
And he's working along with Tubeck, who brings a little bit of different dimension than what Williams does. A lot quicker on the edge.
Tubeck is sophomore, behind Camilleri. Receives the give. Continues to motor his way to the 44-yard line. Gain of 5 on the play.
Well, Tim, for viewers at home that have become familiar with this program this year, as you get another look at Tubeck hurtling over the left-hand side. The pace of the offense has changed quite a bit over the past couple of weeks. In the early part of the season, a fast break style, no-huddle offense. The Jays have been huddling here today, and we saw a lot of that last week as well. Perhaps slowing things down here for the younger quarterback.
Nick Kronmiller coming up to help drop Tubeck after the 5-yard pickup. 2nd and 5 from the 44. Pressure coming. Again the veer. Gibson to the near side with an opening. Uses the stiff arm to the face of his defender as he shoved Moore out of the way. And gains positive yardage for an Elmhurst 1st down inside the 40.
Well, Gibson able to break contain that time because of the terrific block by Adam Smith, the right tackle. Can't say enough good things about this offensive line, although the offense has struggled the last couple of weeks. Those front 5 have played very well.
1st and 10. 3rd visit in 4 possessions for Elmhurst to the Millikin side. Under 10 minutes to play in the first half. The Blue Jays down 14-0. Camilleri checking off at the line of scrimmage. He'll hand off to Williams, who we haven't seen in a while. Williams down the middle and waltzing his way into the end zone for the Elmhurst touchdown from 38 yards away.
Great
Huge
vision,
opening.
Great cutback. How about the check by the young quarterback? They check the zone read to the 3 technique, and Scotty Williams does the rest.
Scotty Williams finding the end zone on the ground for the 6th time this year. And on comes Trevor Spalding to try to pull the Blue Jays with it, a touchdown.
Boy, a little bit of energy now in the offense.
Out of the hold of Jake Lincoln, the extra point is up in plenty of distance, but it missed to the right. 14-6. Spalding has been perfect on field goals this year. but he misses the extra point here. He's had some issues with extra points this year. That's his 5th miss as we get another look at the hole created for Scotty Williams.
Tim, take a look at Josh Gentile here. Bury Sonny Williams there at the end of the play. He's your wide receiver. Takes the corner flat out of the play. Williams finishes it off.
So it's 14-6 with 9:32 to play in the opening half. Scotty Williams celebrating another touchdown for the Blue Jays. Williams with 91 yards on the ground today on only 11 carries.
Well, we knew coming into today, and we mentioned it in the early part of the game, Scotty's been the offense for the Jays the last couple of weeks. Perhaps the young quarterback Camilleri here can balance things out for the Jays.
Trevor Spalding will kick off for the Blue Jays, who trail 14-6. Deep for the Big Blue, Mike Blakely. It'll be Blakely backing up to the 11. Blakely follows his wall to the right side. A flag comes in as Blakely reaches the 20-yard line. Multiple flags, in fact.
Well, Rodney Payton was one of the first Jays on the Wolfpack unit down there, and he got bumped in the back. That'll push the Big Blue back inside their own 10. And a big drive defensively here for the Jays. They have got to make a statement and turn away the Big Blue.
See if we can pick up the penalty here. There it is.
Not often you see your starting receiver and pretty electric receiver on your kickoff unit, but Rodney's the first one down there, and this will bury the sticks back at about the 10-yard line.
1st and 10 for Millikin from the 11-yard line. With 9:23 to play in the first half. Time for that Elmhurst defense to step up.
Yeah,
this would be a great time for a turnover.
You haven't seen much pressure yet out of the Jays defense. We'll see if they bring it here.
Keeper for Holmes. Reaching the 15-yard line to provide a little more room for that Millikin offense. Just kind of ducked underneath. Dan Vicari with the initial stop for Elmhurst. 2nd and 7 upcoming.
Holmes using his big offensive line to sort of gash open a few creases in the defense.
Millikin has moved the ball today, 155 yards so far in the game. Only punted once. A pass from Holmes a little bit low, but handled by Eric Toby, who owns one of the 2 touchdown catches today. It'll be a first down for the Big Blue to the 25.
The 3-step drop has really hurt the Jays for the course of the season here as you get a look at the quick snap and set, get rid of it. Last week, Wesleyan went up and down the field with Rob Gallick, their sophomore signal caller, with 3-step drops. Jays corner is really bailing out of there.
Marvin Carr, a freshman, recording the tackle for the Blue Jays. Motion for Millikin. Dunning, the running back. Only a couple out to the 28-yard line.
Well, this is just an inside zone play. We've seen this out of the Elmhurst Jays quite often this season. This is the Big Blue version of it. And 2nd down is huge. Got to keep it in a 3rd and long situation here. This has been a conservative position now for the Big Blue so far today. We'll see if they run Holmes on a quarterback keep.
Elmhurst showing blitz. Holmes hands off to Dunning. Dunning with a couple yards crossing the 30 out to the 31.
And the East-West running game has not been very successful so far this season against the Jays. It's a 3-down look, but they have a lot of speed on the field. A little bit undersized at the linebacker position and in the invert safeties, but they can run sideline to sideline. They set up a 3rd and medium.
Third and a long 4 upcoming for the Millikin offense. A big play for the Elmhurst defense. Crowd starts to make some noise here at Langhorst Field. Holmes with a flag flying is pressured and the play will be blown dead.
The penalty. Yep, play clock ran out on him.
False start penalty against Millikin.
And now Millikin will have even further to cover on third down. A false start is the call. And it is a 3rd and 9 for Millikin from their own 26.
Again, another opportunity for the defense to show their wares here. They have got to get off the field in these situations, turn it back over to the offense.
Third downs were big last week against Illinois Wesleyan. They've been big today as well. Millikin 4 of 5 on third down. Holmes will dump off to Dunning, and he is pushed out of bounds by DeMaria. And he actually ends up losing yardage on the play.
Yeah, man coverage this time, and DeMaria is locked up with the tailback. He's able to get out of his middle linebacker position and make a play. Nice job by the young linebacker.
Vitaly Kulik, a 40-yard punt, pinned Elmhurst inside the 1 the last time he took to the field. John Janis will stand at the 40-yard line, and he will back up towards the 35, and he handles it there. Janis waits. Janis has an opening. Janis continues to run out to the 42-yard line, where he is finally brought down there by Wesley Beach. Good job by John Janis of kind of biding his time and waiting for the opening.
Take a look here. John Janis, a fearless return guy, able to create a little space for himself. Puts the Jays in pretty good position here just on the other side of the 40. Janis, a 3-time all-conference selection at the safety position.
And it's the freshman Camilleri again in at quarterback. Why not? He directed a touchdown drive last time. Elmhurst trailing 14-6 with 6:18 to play in the first half. Handoff to Scotty Williams, coming near side. Williams leapfrogs a defender, and he will cross the 45-yard line, working his way near midfield to the 48.
Well, he does such a great job navigating his offensive line there. Take a look at Ackery, the safety that comes down. He flat out misses Williams that time, able to get enough of him to slow him down. But Williams is pretty crafty in between that big offensive line.
2nd and 5. 5:45 first half. 14-6, Millikin the advantage. Peyton St. Peter to the far side. Gabris in motion. Camilleri hits Gabris. Gabris will cross midfield, but he's hit as soon as he makes the catch, falling ahead to the Millikin 49.
Well, defensively, Patrick Etherton, the head coach, the first-year head coach for Millikin, knows that the freshman quarterback is in there. They're going to be a little bit more conservative with their play call. Perhaps his coverage can be a little bit more aggressive, play a little bit more press man, force the issue on the young quarterback to make a play.
Gentile to the near, Peyton to the far. 3rd and short. Camilleri settling down the offense. With under 5 minutes to play, hands off to Williams, looking for an opening. And it's defended nicely by Millikin, who shoves Williams out of bounds after a loss of a yard on the play. Leading the way was Nick Cronmiller for the Big Blue.
Well, this says a lot about your offense and where you're at in the season. On a 3rd and 4, you're going to go ahead and hand it off to Scotty Williams, who's no doubt an electric player, but just not a lot of confidence in their offense to move the ball through the air.
Sean Sullivan will punt for the first time today. Joe Furco had punted on the first 2 opportunities. Mike Blakely is deep, standing at his own 19. Sullivan, rugby style, rolls right. Fair catch is called for, and Blakely will make the fair catch at the 21-yard line. Millikin takes over with 4:09 to play in the half.
Well, huge spot here for both offense and defense with 4 minutes to go in the game and an 8-point gap. See if Elmhurst can't get the ball back for their offense here before the half ends. Millikin content to maybe run the football here and get into the second half with an 8-point lead.
29 yards on the punt. And it is a 1st and 10 for the Big Blue.
They'll come out 4 wide with it, a 3-by-1 look into the boundary.
Dunning the lone back. Holmes hands off to Dunning. Dunning tries to rid himself of Wayne Tuxon, who hangs on after a gain of a yard.
Hold steady, number 54, able to bring down Dunning. And Millikin not in too much of a hurry here. They'll keep their 10 personnel on the field. 1 running back, 4 wide receivers.
Big Blue with 3 timeouts left here in the half. They have not taken one of yet. Elmhurst with 2 to play. 3:35 left in the opening half. 14-6, Millikin with the lead. Big Blue will receive the kick to start the second half. Again, it's Dunning. And he's tripped up immediately, falling forward for maybe a yard. And now do you think about using one of those 2 remaining timeouts, Tony?
Well, as the clock ticks down near 3, I think you want to leave as many as you can for your young quarterback. Furco already burned one in the first quarter. You have 2 left if you're the Jays. Looks like Coach Lester's willing to hang on to him.
Third down and 8.
Buster look for rub routes on the wide receivers here.
Holmes flings it over the head of his intended target, Blakely. Incomplete. The Elmhurst defense holds.
Well, a huge play there. Obviously, you stop the clock there with just under 3 minutes to go in the game, but you've kept Millikin pinned down inside their 30. You'll get good field position, you hope, here. And maybe a better return by Janis.
39.5 yards per kick so far for the Millikin punter, Vitali Kulik. John Janis standing at his own 40-yard line. 2:47 to play in the half. A low snap. Pressure coming from Tubeck. Kulik with a beaut, backing Janis up to the 30-yard line. Janis waiting, and he's hit for a loss of 2 at the 28. Great coverage by Millikin on the huge kick from Kulik.
Yeah, Kulik's been great today. His long coming into today was a 52. I'm not so sure that wasn't right at 50 yards, but getting it up in the wind stream there. Take a look at Janis. He's got nowhere to go. Great coverage by Millikin.
Kulik came into the game sitting 6th in the CCIW in punting at 35 yards per.
Boy, must be a great year for punting in the CCIW. This kid seems like he's a pretty good little punter for the Big Blue, but it's 2:36 to go. Tim, I think you got to cut loose the young quarterback here, try to push the ball down the field.
47 yards on the punt for Kulik. Camilleri looking to throw to Payton over the middle for a first down. Payton to the 43.
Of course, when you're in trouble, just go to number 4, right? He's been a dynamic player this year, had a couple of quiet weeks, but Camilleri finds Payton that time.
Hurry up look for Elmhurst. 3 wide receivers. Camilleri, quick drop, just out of the reach of Payton. It's one way to build confidence. Quick 3- and 5-step drops for the freshman quarterback.
Well, Millikin's rushing 4 this time, playing coverage behind it. Looks like a quarters look. Payton now able to come up with the play inside the safety.
2:20 to play, first half. 2nd and 10 for Elmhurst from the 43.
And Millikin will roll coverage down towards Payton this time.
Scotty Williams sidesteps an initial tackler. Gains maybe a yard to the 44. Leading the way for Millikin, Keith Burzak. And it is a 3rd and 9 with 2 minutes to play in the half.
Penetration just ruined that play from the start.
Millikin shows blitz. Camilleri steps up, throws it behind Vince Gabris, incomplete. And Joe Furco will come on as the punter here.
Oh, Camilleri just not stepping into the throw that time. It's all arm, and he's behind his receiver, Gabris. And we have not seen an offense struggle like this in many years, and certainly not under the Lester regime here.
This is the 3rd punt for Furco today. Sean Sullivan punted once as well. Blakely at his own 20. Furco with a floater. Blakely bobbles at the 22-yard line, but is able to backpedal and fall on top.
Rolls out of bounds on the far side of the field. Millikin to start 1st and 10 at their 21-yard line.
Well,
So
Tim,
with
just
1:45 to play. Millikin leading 14-6 here in the first half, taking over 1st and 10 from their own 21.
Just sort of being here in the booth, you don't feel a lot of emotion either with the crowd or on the sidelines. Just a very flat performance so far for the Jays. With the exception of Scotty Williams, there's been very little to cheer about here. Defense maybe has to make a play and turn over the Big Blue.
North Park and Augustana even at 14 apiece. North Central on top of Illinois Wesleyan 7-0 down in Bloomington late first quarter. Dunning crosses the 25-yard line out to the 27 for a pickup of 6 yards on the play. Millikin does have all 3 timeouts. They do not appear as though they will take one here with 1:28 to play in the half.
Well, you take a look at the body language of the Jays here and just no sense of urgency in the blue jerseys.
Trips to the near side. Holmes
Oh,
on a keeper. Huge hole. Side steps a tackler down the sideline and inside the 20 to the 16-yard line. Boy, did he make Alvin Chikungo look silly.
Well, the free safety had a beat on him, just took a really poor angle. And you practice all week. The backside corner, it looks like it was Jamal Lane, made a poor play on it. And this is Millikin's go-to package here.
First timeout for the Big Blue with 1:05 to play in the first half. Looking to build on a 14-6 advantage.
The book on the Big Blue offensively is you got to take away the quarterback power in the inside zone. That team not staying home in the back end, lost contain. Marvin Carr, the young corner, had to chase him down.
Holmes had 33 yards rushing before that run. But he has set up Millikin inside the red zone late in the first half.
Well, both Holmes and Dunning have ground up the Jays here. Able to keep the ball, hold possession, control the pace. They have not had to go to the air much.
On a fantastic Saturday afternoon in Elmhurst, Millikin leading 14-6 as the first half winds down. They have 2 timeouts remaining.
Well, the Jays have got to shut the door here and make a statement before the half ends.
Trips to the near side. Holmes hands off to Dunning inside the 15. Clock running with 56 seconds to play.
Millikin will rush to the line of scrimmage. Their strategy here has changed with the flip-flop in field position.
2nd and 6 out of the hurry-up. Holmes to the left side. Targets Eichenauer, who makes the catch. Eichenauer out of bounds inside the 10 at the 7-yard line. It will be a first down for the Big Blue, who have 1st and goal with 35.5 to play in the half.
Millikin recognizing a little bit of a mismatch over there. Got the young corner Marvin Carr at 5'5", 145, the freshman.
Timeout Millikin with 28.6 to play in the half. That's the 2nd timeout on the drive for the Big Blue. Holmes with 88 yards rushing, 78 yards passing here in the first half. Millikin looking to build on a 14-6 lead, and the Big Blue will receive when we return from halftime as well. They have really moved the ball up and down against the Blue Jays today. Nice balance for Millikin here in the first half as well.
They sure have, and they're winning in the trenches. That's where it starts in your running game. Those big bullies up front for the Big Blue, 6'2", 275, 6 foot 305, and 6'1", 280 from guard to guard. They're really making some good movement there along the front line and not allowing the Jays backers to scrape and get downhill.
1st and goal for the Big Blue.
Well, you got to go man-to-man coverage here for the Jays. They'll spread you out, see if they try to run Holmes.
4 wide. Palmer comes in motion. Holmes, a broken play, keeps, and he will be escorted untouched into the end zone. He felt the heat, tucked and ran into the end zone, and Millikin builds on their lead here in the first half. 22 6/10 to play in the first half. Holmes with his first rushing touchdown of the game. And really, he did most of the work on the drive.
Well, the Jays are in a tough spot now, down 2 scores with a first-year quarterback at the helm.
Austin Brett Schneider's extra point attempt is up and good. 21-6 with 22.6 left in the half as the Big Blue strike again. That drive was all Matt Holmes as we get a look at the touchdown. There's the heat. He felt it, tucked, and followed his blockers into the end zone without an Elmhurst defender so much as putting a hand on the junior quarterback.
Elmhurst fans, the Blue Jays have introduced a new way to follow all of the
5 plays, 79 yards for Millikin
Today's game is being webcast
in just a minute and 22 seconds.
I would not want to be in the locker room here just to the west of Langhorse Field in the home locker room. I'm sure Coach Lester will have a few words for his Jays.
Just a reminder, you can go back and watch any of our broadcasts here on Blue Jay TV. They are available for you on demand. We'll have a doubleheader of soccer coming your way on Blue Jay TV a little bit later on today as well, as Elmhurst hosting Wheaton. Austin Brett Schneider with a line drive floating kick, bouncing at the 30-yard line, backing Rodney Payton up to the 29. Payton changing course with a flag on the field. He's only going to end up gaining a couple, and the Blue Jays will be backed up as well with less than 15 seconds to play in the half after a penalty flag flies in.
Tim, there has got to be an attitude change on this sideline as you take a look at Rodney Payton coming into the field there. No energy at all. Jays are walking around like a defeated bunch.
Looks like they picked up the flag. They picked it up, and Elmhurst will be spotted at the 22-yard line. 21-6. Millikin in front, first half winding down. Freshman quarterback Joe Camilleri will probably hand off to Scotty Williams and see what can happen here. Don't want to take too many chances. Late in the half, Camilleri does give to Williams a huge opening. Williams off to the races. Williams crossing the 40 and stepping out of bounds at the 47-yard line with 7.4 to play in the half. And a gain of 25 yards for Scotty Williams, who's over 100 in the first half.
Well, you've got a timeout in your pocket here. See if you can't take a quick shot, maybe get 10, 15 more yards and call the timeout, maybe set up one last one.
Hamby and St. Peter to the far, Payton to the near. Hard count from Camilleri, low snap. Camilleri will just air it out for Payton. Payton is open and it's broken up. Great coverage from Darryl Mitchell to knock it away from Payton. It was a little underthrown. The half does not expire. There's still just less than a second left.
Tim, I am shocked that Rodney Payton is allowed to get on top of the defense here. It looks like, where's the safety on top of Payton? If Camilleri gets it out there, it's a touchdown for the Jays, but a little bit of an odd choice in coverage that time on Payton. Camilleri not able to put it on him.
0.7 of a second to play in the half. Joe Furco will take over for Camilleri.
Well, do you sling it down or do you go screen pass with it here? Looks like they'll stack 3 receivers.
First, though, a timeout for Elmhurst. It is the second Blue Jay timeout of the half. Furco played the whole first quarter. Camilleri has played the duration of the second, and it looks like Furco will be on for the final play of the half. Second and 10 for the Blue Jays. who allowed Millikin to roll up 257 yards in the first half, including 170 on the ground.
And a couple of big ones in there, but regardless of yardage or field position, you've got to find a way to inject some energy into this home sideline here. The Jays sort of dragging their feet a bit here going into the half.
It is Furco as the quarterback out of the timeout. Hamby, Gentile to the far side. Peyton to the near. Furco stepping up, looking deep. Great spiral in the air. St. Peter is there. It's knocked away, incomplete. That is the way the half comes to a close as Mitchell Caffey in to break it up. Let's take another look at the last second heave from Joe Furco.
Well, good job by the offensive line to give him a little bit of time, and Furco puts it 55 yards in the air into the mix. That's all you can ask for as a receiver, to get an opportunity. A lot of contact, but you don't call that one.
End of the half. Millikin 21, Elmhurst 6. We'll have first half numbers for you in a while. In the meantime, enjoy the festivities here at Langhorst Field. This is Blue Jay TV. Halftime at Elmhurst. Millikin 21, Elmhurst 6. We'll run down the numbers for you momentarily, but Tim Calderwood alongside Tony Minestra. And Tony, suffice it to say that I'm sure in the locker room there were a lot of things discussed because many things need to change in the second half of this game for Elmhurst.
Well, what was discussed and what the coaches talked about with the players is probably secondary to the fact that the tone of the coaches was probably fairly stern. I can't remember a time when the Jays have played with this much lack of energy, lack of focus. They've got to light a fire to get things going here in the second half.
Millikin 257 yards in the first half on 34 plays. Each team ran 34 plays. Elmhurst just 186. Big disparity right now. Passing versus rushing for Elmhurst. Only 35 yards passing, 151 yards rushing. Millikin 170 yards on the ground, 87 through the air. Big Blue did hold a slight edge in time of possession in the first half. Scotty Williams plus 100 yards, 15 carries for 121 with a TD. Matt Holmes, 94 yards, the Millikin junior quarterback, owns a touchdown, and he's thrown for 2 as well. 8 of 10 for 87 yards through the air. Sean Dunning with 11 carries for 69 yards. Trevor Spalding will open the second half with a kickoff for the Blue Jays. It'll be picked up at the 18 by Eric Toby. Eric Toby will cross the 25. He'll be stopped shy of the 30 as Millikin receives the opening kick here in the second half. And the time for this Elmhurst defense to show up is now.
Yeah, and Tim, maybe the most disconcerting factor of the first half is that Millikin did not do anything exotic. Really running the football, running their standard stuff. Jay's not able to make the run fits. A couple of big plays in the run game.
The only exotic play they ran was an incompletion from Eric Toby, a wide receiver.
Jays have just got to strap it down here and play solid defense moving forward.
1st and 10. Dunning is the running back. A quick throw to Toby. It's low, but Toby keeps it off of the turf. And he'll pick up a couple of yards. Ryan McGuire in on the stop for the Blue Jays. Also joining suit, Alvin Chikungo.
257 yards racked up by the Big Blue in the first half. A lot of it coming in the form of 2 large breakaway plays for Millikin. Jays have got to settle into some sort of rhythm here in the second half.
2nd and 8. Holmes very comfortable right now. Hands off to Dunning. Huge opening straight ahead. Dunning is hit by Chikungle, but not before he picks up a first down across the 45-yard line.
Well, perhaps defensive coordinator Joe Adam unhappy with some of the things he saw in the first half. We see Simonik in at the invert safety, normally where you'd see John Janis, Alvin Chikungle, of course, and Marvin Carr out there as well. So some new faces for the Jays to start the second half.
Trailing 21-6, just underway third quarter. First possession of the half for Millikin. Trips to the far side for Holmes. He will fling out an incomplete, a little miscommunication between Holmes and Tommy Eichenauer, the intended target.
This is something Millikin likes to do. They like to spread the pocket. It really is a one-receiver read. They'll run the 2 and the 3 off to blow the safety coverage off. Becomes a one-on-one with Carr. Not able to connect that time.
2nd and 10 with 13:44 to play. Matt Holmes is the quarterback. He'll hand off to Dunning, and Dunning keeps his legs moving. Crossing midfield, brought down at the Elmhurst 45 by Charlie Roberts.
Well, the backers have got to show up here for the Jays. Take a look at the way that Millikin gashes it on the power play. Simonik overruns it, misses the play. Roberts able to make a play from behind. But George D. Maria, McGuire, and Tuxson have got to make some plays, step up in the running game.
CCIW scores halftime. North Park and Augustana tied at 14 apiece. First half winding down in Bloomington. It's North Central with a 2-touchdown lead at Illinois Wesleyan. And North Central with the football and on the move again as well, just shy of midfield. Here's Dunning again for a first down. Actually, the ball came free. Elmhurst is saying they have possession here.
A little bit of a confusion.
The officials
here
will
referees.
confer. They're talking about it. Elmhurst is certainly celebrating turnover. First of the game.
That may be what you need to light a spark under the Jays here. A little bit of a delay in the call, but the home faithful will take it here. Get a look.
I don't know who it was who ripped it away.
Certainly a positive play here for the Jays. Millikin getting into a bit of a groove here to start the second half.
Joe Furco opens the second half at quarterback, and right away he will match his production total from the first half with a completion to Joe St. Peter. Furco played the first quarter. He was 1 for 7, only completion for 2 yards. Joe Camilleri entered for a majority of the second quarter, but Furco with a first down on the first play. Scotty Williams straight ahead, and Williams down to the 34-yard line.
Well, the speed and the tempo is picked up here. We mentioned in the first half how the offense had decided to huddle a little bit, but right back into the high-octane offense here. Furco getting the kids lined up. Love the change of pace here, Tim.
Furco with St. Peter to the far side, Peyton to the near, play action. Furco has it tipped and intercepted. Well, the change of pace was nice, but Cody Acree with the interception at the 27-yard line for Millikin.
Well, Furco would probably be better off in this situation, pulling the ball down or throwing it out of bounds, looking for Gibson that time, coming across the formation. Dangerous to throw it late and down the middle.
Looked like Alvis was the one who put his hands up, and it was Acree with the interception, the senior safety for Millikin. So the teams have traded turnovers here to start the second half. It's the first pick of the year for Acree. Just the 5th interception as a team for Millikin.
We're starting to see a little bit of the versatility here in the Big Blue offense. 2 tight ends.
Flags fly.
One of my big concerns here for the defense in the second half is
false start against Millikin, backing up the Big Blue 5 yards.
Concern has got to be the inability of the defense to shut down the downhill running game of the Big Blue. Certainly just running a lot of isolation and inside zone plays. You got to win at the point of attack.
First and 15 from the 22 for the Big Blue.
And back to the 4-wide set.
Blakely, Palmer, and Toby to the far. It is Dunning on the give straight ahead to the 25.
That time you see both invert safeties, including Janis this possession, sneaking up to the line of scrimmage, forcing the issue. Defensive coaches recognizing patterns in the Millikin offense, looking to put some pressure. Sets up a second and long.
Second and 12 for Millikin. Pressure coming from John Janis on the weak side. Pass is picked off. That's intercepted by Chikungal. 3 turnovers to open the second half. 2 for Millikin and 1 for Elmhurst. Chikungal sets up the Blue Jays inside the 25.
Well, you made the call correct here, Tim. The pressure caused the pick that time. Running down the seam, Chikungal able to track it down, and great return on that time. Marvin Carr escorting him down the Millikin sideline, sets up the Jays in great field position on the 25.
First and 10 for the Blue Jays. That's the first interception today for the Millikin quarterback, Matt Holmes. It's Furco at quarterback again with Scotty Williams behind him in the pistol set. They'll run option. Furco with an option pass to St. Peter, wide open at the goal line. Is he in? Touchdown, Elmhurst. They bid on the option run. Furco instead said, okay, I'm going to throw. And he hit St. Peter for the strike after the interception, a one-play, 25-yard drive.
Well, we mentioned the ability of Nick Cronmiller, the senior safety for Millikin, who leads the conference in tackles, that time coming downhill, vacating the deep middle, allowing St. Peter to work against the corner one-on-one.
Third touchdown grab of the season for St. Peter, his 9th catch overall. Here's Spalding on for the extra point. It is up after he missed one earlier. He is successful here, 21-13. Furco's 16th touchdown of the year brings the Blue Jays to within a score.
Yeah, here's your option look. Great job by the offensive line to not get downfield on this play. Furco flares it out there, and St. Peter pulls it down. Jays have some life. Sometimes it takes that, Tim. Sometimes it takes a turnover and get some good things going. Positive vibes on the home sideline.
11:38 to play, third quarter. That's a lot of time. Blue Jays trailing 21-13 after Furco connects with St. Peter on a 25-yard score.
Well, you mentioned in the open, Tim, sort of the unpredictable nature of this series of recent years. Last 7 victors have done it on the road. Last meeting was a shootout, 40-34. Wonder if we're in for a good one here today.
Spalding with the boot from the 30. High, angling towards the near side. Collected at the 20 by Eric Toby. Toby will rotate right and reach the 25-yard line. A special teams play made by Jamal Lane. Also in there was Carr defensively for the Blue Jays.
It's been a terrific unit all year except for the Wheaton week. Take a look at the coverage here. No place to go for Millikin.
Well, Millikin has turned it over on their first 2 offensive possessions. 21-13, Elmhurst trailing. Holmes rolls right, throws, connects with Tommy Eichenauer. Eichenauer with a big gainer across the 45 out to the 47.
Well, teams consistently this year, Tim, have been attacking the field side of the defense. So as the ball's placed on a hash, as you'll see it here, this time in the center of the field, they'll roll the coverage away from Jamal Lane. Jamal's the all-conference corner that plays in the boundary side, away from the strength of the formation in most cases. And teams have been going away from him, that time picking on Carr.
Weak side versus strong side, another way of talking about those field references that Tony was mentioning moments ago. On a keeper, it's Holmes. Sliding right to midfield. Ball came free at the last moment. Elmer's trying to say they recovered, but down is the ruling. Holmes trying to reach the 100-yard plateau today.
Well, the defense saw a steady diet of the quarterback power and the quarterback draw this week in practice. A little bit different when you see it on a Saturday. They've got to shut down Holmes.
Holmes keeps. Holmes has the first down near the 40-yard line. John Janis defensively for the Blue Jays, helped out by George DeMaria.
This time they pull the right tackle down, which draws down Dan Vicari, the defensive end, creates some space there for the quarterback. Millikin now switching up their looks in the blocking scheme.
1st and 10 as we come up on 10 minutes to play in the third quarter. A very busy third quarter. We've had 3 turnovers and a touchdown in the first 5 minutes. Turnovers came on consecutive plays, in fact. Holmes stepping up. Now he'll keep a whole lot of running room. Holmes inside the 20, continuing to work his way inside the 10 to the 8. A big run for Holmes, covering 33 yards.
Yeah, and as Holmes checks his first read, he has no intention of putting the ball down the field. Sees a little crease that time and tucks it.
A little bit of over pursuit for the Blue Jays. Chikungal and Jamal Lane finally brought him down inside the 10. It's 1st and goal for Millikin. That big play in the first half set up a couple of Millikin touchdowns. Another big play here in the third quarter with 9:20 remaining. Holmes keeps straight ahead. Not much there.
Well, again, spreading out that Elmhurst defense, giving a little space in there. Less bodies to account for in the blocking scheme. And Holmes is pretty crafty in between the tackles.
2nd and goal from the 8 with 8:53 to play in the third quarter.
Jay's really walking out the safeties, playing some man-to-man coverage out here.
High snap for Holmes, who is drilled by DeMaria and McGuire, among others. Inside Catane coming from the Blue Jays.
Take a look here. They made some terrific penetration, disrupted the rhythm of the play, brings up a 3rd down. Last time we saw a big play down here was a fade route. See if the Big Blue put the ball in the air here.
3rd and goal. Trips to the near side. Blakely, Eichenauer, Palmer. Isolated on the right side of the field is Toby. Looking left. It's a similar route. A fade for Eichenauer. Step for step with them in coverage was Marvin Carr, incomplete.
Well, Eichenauer will complain to the referee all he wants. It's pretty good coverage that time by the youngster Carr. Get another look at it here as it comes into the picture.
Almost a little too much air underneath it as well on the throw from the quarterback Holmes, who really got rid of that ball in a hurry. Field goal attempt, Austin Brettschneider.
Millikin's got to be aware of the clock here. They're under 10 seconds on the play clock.
Brettschneider is the punter for Millikin and also the kickoff man.
Time has run out.
He will be attempting a 27-yard field goal, and he sneaks it inside the right upright. 24-13 is the score. That's the first field goal attempt of the season for Brettschneider. And with 7:49 left in the third, Millikin is back in front by 2 scores.
Well, still a win for the defense. Coaching staff certainly encouraging that unit as they come off the field here. They gave up the big play on the scramble to Holmes, but shut the door down, forced the 3 points. Now the offense has to respond.
The day-long event is filled with opportunities to meet up with fellow Elmhurst College football alumni, previous and current coaches, plus friends and families of current players.
Millikin has led throughout this game. Elmhurst has pulled to within a touchdown here in the third quarter. But that was as close as they've come. Also trailed 14-7 in the first half. Millikin with 242 yards on the ground against the second best rushing defense in the CCIW. Brett Schneider with a bounder to the 20-yard line. It is Rodney Payton who scoops. Payton cannot dance away from the Millikin tackler as he's near the 40-yard line. Christian Silva, junior defender, with the tackle for Millikin.
Well, Coach Tim Lester showing some confidence in his junior quarterback, Joe Furco, back out there for the second series here. Third series, really, after the turnovers.
7:44 to play. Furco connected up with Joe St. Peter on a 25-yard strike last time. He'll hand off to Scotty Williams. Scotty Williams jumps over a tackler, crosses midfield to the 48.
Well, Tim and viewers at home here, take a look at the left side of this offensive line if we get another look. Watch Kirkpatrick and Virgil just completely move their defenders off the line of scrimmage. Look at this. Great vision by Scotty to use his offensive line.
1st and 10 for the Blue Jays with 7:25 to play in this third quarter. 24-13, Millikin with the advantage. Furco looking left. Throwing for Gibson, incomplete. He had Payton underneath as well.
Well, Gibson working a little high-low action that time with Payton. Gibson's the slot guy. Payton runs a little dig route underneath, tries to draw the safety. Sets up a 2nd and long. 2nd and 10 for the Jays.
Furco hands off to Williams. Williams turns the corner, still on his feet inside the 45 to the 44 as he picks up 5 yards.
Gain of 5 on the play.
Well, Scotty's gone 4 straight weeks over 120 yards. 556 yards of his 800 plus have come against CCIW opponents. Another 100 plus here today.
Another 120 plus for that matter. The hard count nearly catches Millikin jumping. St. Peter contacts with the Millikin defender, but it is incomplete. Daniel Fischel in coverage. And 4th and 5. What do you do here?
Wow, shocked they didn't get the offsides looked here, but Furco electing to take a deep shot here on 3rd and 5.
Looks like the offense stays on the field.
I'm with you. You've got to get something going here as we drift into the midway point of the third quarter.
6:31 to play, third quarter.
Press coverage on Rodney.
4th and 5. Furco over the middle. It's dropped. Incomplete. Vince Gabris had it in his hands. He would have been shy of the first down anyhow, but he felt the heat coming and couldn't hang on.
Well, Gabris finding a little soft spot in the zone in between the backers that time, not able to complete the play. Pressure falls on the defense again.
Keith Burzak on the coverage for Millikin, who takes over from their own 44, 1st and 10, with 6:27 to play, and the Big Blue in front, 24-13. They led 21-6 at the intermission. Holmes hands off to Bunning. Bunning will cross the 45-yard line, and he'll reach the 47.
Well, this ground game for Millikin is going to continue to grind away at this front 7 for the Blue Jays. You've got to find a way to get off the field on 3rd and down, perhaps turn the ball over again.
Tyler Roush was the starting running back for Millikin today. Carried 3 times in the first quarter. He may be shaken up because we haven't seen him since. But Sean Dunning has lifted the load. And as I look to the sideline, Tyler Roush is just standing there with his hands on his hips. Here's Dunning again, hit behind the line of scrimmage. Ryan Sismonic leading the way.
Well, how do you not account for Wayne Tuxon in the blocking scheme? Take a look at Wayne shooting the gap here. They run to the 2 tight end side there, a little outside zone, and Wayne just slashes through.
3rd and long for Millikin.
Big 3rd and long here.
5:25 to play, third quarter. Boy, the defense has really answered the call coming out here in the second half.
Certainly have. See if they bring a little pressure package here. They do.
Pressure comes. Holmes throws. It is caught to Palmer.
Oh, boy.
Johnson missed a tackle, and that enables Palmer to keep moving towards the Elmhurst 40 and convert on 3rd and long.
Well, you forced the hand here of Holmes to get rid of the football. A free defender coming free. You got Ryan Johnson out in the flat, and he flat misses the tackle. First down, Big Blue.
5th third down conversion for Millikin today. They are 5 of 10. 4:54 to play, 3rd quarter. Millikin on the move at the Elmhurst 42. Dunning for a couple to the 40.
Jays are doing a much better job at the point of attack, dealing with that power play as they pull the right tackle into the B gap, send Dunning in there behind it.
Ryan McGuire, Ryan Johnson combined to take down Dunning. After a pickup of 2, it is 2nd and 8.
And the methodical nature of this offense so far this game has really limited the time that the Jays have had the football. We're ticking down near 10 seconds in the play clock here, and about 4 minutes left to go in the 3rd. Millikin's just getting to the line of scrimmage.
4 wide. Here comes the heat. McGuire on a linebacker blitz. Pass falls incomplete, short of Eric Tobey.
And save for the play that was not made by Johnson on 3rd down, I think you got to keep bringing heat on Holmes. He's clearly uncomfortable in the pocket. As you take a look here, not able to connect, not able to set his feet. Another big 3rd down. I think you got to look quarterback draw here on 3rd and 8.
The crowd at Langhorse Field comes to life. Willed on by Alvin Chikungal. 3rd and 8 for Millikin. Trips to the near. Holmes looking. Holmes moving, rolling, throwing, intercepted. It is picked off at the 30-yard line by George DiMaria. Not only a stop for Elmhurst defensively on 3rd down, but a turnover.
Well, again, they go man coverage. DiMaria out on Dunning as you watch Dunning flare out. As the play breaks down, DiMaria keeps his responsibility. Take a look at 37, staying in front of Dunning, able to make a play on the ball. Great job by the young linebacker.
3rd turnover of the quarter for Millikin. Joe Furco remains the Elmhurst quarterback with 3:46 to play. Furco gives to Williams, huge hole. Williams has the first down, gaining 12 yards to the 42.
And Millikin is giving up yardage in huge chunks here. You got to stay on the ground. Ride Williams here.
Injury for Millikin. Cody Acree, the senior safety who owns an interception today, is down. Scotty Williams with 161 yards rushing in the game today.
Yeah, and Scotty and the offense have been pretty good from 30 to 30, really in the middle of the field. Where the Jays have struggled, especially the last couple of weeks, is converting in the red zone and getting opportunities down near the goal line. So far this season, CCIW rankings have the Blue Jays 7th. They're scoring less than 80% of the time they get the ball down inside the 20-yard line, so they really need to continue to improve that in that field.
Williams with over 160 yards today, still nowhere near his season high total, 235 yards against North Park to go with 3 touchdowns that came on only 19 carries. Followed that up with 194 yards showing at Wheaton. Last week, 127 yards on 28 carries, a bulk of that very early in the loss to Illinois Wesleyan.
Well, the approach to the running game is a lot different for the Jays. They'll employ a much more finesse game as opposed to the Millikin physicalness of their front 5. As Acree will help himself off the field. But very athletic are the 5 up front for the Jays. In particular, the tackles. All juniors and seniors across the offensive line able to create some space for the all-conference running back.
Scoreboard check, halftime in Bloomington, North Central 17, Illinois Wesleyan nothing. 4th quarter, Augustana 27, North Park 17. It's play action, Furco feels the heat. He is hit as he throws, but the catch is made by Vince Gabrus. There's the poise of a 3-year starter, Joe Furco.
A little bit of an atonement there for Vince Gabrus. And again, look at the time that Furco has to operate. The offensive line keeping his jersey clean, steps into the throw despite taking a Millikin defender in the chest and finds Gabrus.
Comeback route for Gabrus. 24-13, Millikin the lead. Third quarter winding down, 3:12. And Scotty Williams will be driven backwards by Jacob Alvis, a safety coming up.
Well, I've been surprised with Millikin. They've been mixing their coverages, using 2 safeties over the top a lot. We saw them early in an 8-man box. They'll shift to a 2-safety look here.
2nd and 11. Furco rolls left, steps up, throws deep for Payton. Payton is tripped up and a flag flies. Millikin's Daryl Mitchell in coverage contacted Payton before the ball.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Mitchell threw Payton aside that time to get position on the play.
Pass interference is the call. A 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down for the Blue Jays.
Well, Payton today jumped into the top 10 all-time in terms of receiving yards for the Jays. He's got 1 more year of eligibility after having transferred from Florida A&M. He's a local kid. He's a dynamic receiver on the edge. See if he makes a play here inside the red zone.
A new spot is the 19-yard line. Furco with a quick drop connects with Rodney Payton inside the 15.
I don't think 3's good enough here, Tim. You're down 11 at this point, trickling down to the 4th quarter. Furco's got to engineer a 6-pointer.
Second catch of the day for Rodney Payton. Here's a handoff to Tubeck off the left side. Tubeck near the first down marker inside the 10. Nick Cronmiller cleans him up.
Goodness, Charlie Hamoki, the left tackle, if you got to look at it there, just absolutely pancaked the defensive end there. I believe it was Brian Wolf to clear the way for Tubeck.
2:07 to play, third quarter, 24-13 Millikin. Elmhurst with a 1st and goal from the 9. Gabrus in motion. Play fake to Williams. Furco throws to Williams in the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Blue Jays.
Big Blue lost track of Williams after the play action. Good look by Furco to come back on the wheel.
Design play on the wheel to Scotty Williams in the end zone. Second catch for Williams today. His first touchdown receiving of the year. And the Blue Jays, with 1:53 to play in the third quarter, have added another touchdown, and it appears as though that they will go for 2 here.
Certainly putting some pressure now on Millikin. Momentum has swung back to the home sidelines here, and you got to get 2 to get within 3. Spread look for the Jays.
Hamby and St. Peter wide to the near, Payton the far. Furco steps under center. Looks left. It is a fade route to Payton. The 2-point conversion is good.
Good luck to Daniel Fischel over there. He's a senior, 5'10", 172, but just really poor position on the outstanding receiver, Rodney Payton. Take a look at the back shoulder. We'll get a look at the Williams play here first.
Here's the touchdown. You can see everybody coming towards the near side of the field except for Scotty Williams, who's all by himself. That was the touchdown for the Blue Jays, their second strike here in this third quarter. Furco's second TD as well. A little bit of redemption for Furco, who struggled in the first half.
Pushes his season total up to 17 on the year.
(24-21), Millikin in front with 1:53 to play in the third quarter. And a big third quarter for Elmhurst. Here's the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, very simple one-on-one coverage. Back shoulder throw for Payton. He's in terrific position. Able to pull it down, pull the Jays within 3.
I don't think Fischel expected the ball to come so quickly either. Trevor Spalding kicking away for the Blue Jays. High kick to the 20-yard line. Some miscommunication between Blakely and Eric Tobey. It is Tobey who ends up collecting the loose ball and returning it out to the 33-yard line.
Well, some encouraging possessions the last few times out for the Jays on defense. Someone's got to make a play.
1:47 to play in the third quarter. Elmhurst has outscored Millikin 14-3. Here's a look at the kick return. Jamal Lane on the stop for Elmhurst.
And Millikin will roll out in their 2 tight end set, maybe try to grind it out here a bit.
Dunning stumbles, recovers on his feet across the 45 and near midfield.
I'm going to tell you, Dunning started early here. He came forward on the play before the ball was even snapped. The timing of the play was a little bit off, but no call. Jay's still got to make a tackle.
John Janis with a push from behind. New spot is the 49, 1st and 10. Seeing a surprising score coming across the Division III landscape at halftime. Wisconsin-Oshkosh leading Whitewater. Roberts with the interception off of the Janis deflection. Roberts inside the 25-yard line to the 21.
John Janis started the play, Tim. Look at Charlie Roberts staying on his feet, and it was Janis that helped him up as he started to stumble down. What a play.
4 turnovers for Millikin.
They invite the rush, and Janis savvy enough to get his hand up in the air. Take a look at number 1 here, help his teammate stay on his feet. Come on, Charlie. Tide has turned here at home. The Langhorse crowd is into it now.
1st and 10 for the Blue Jays with 1:14 to play in this third quarter. Play fake. Williams dumps off to Griffin Gibson. Gibson inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line.
Well, if you judge a coach and a coaching staff on their ability to manage emotion, what a switch. What a turn of events here in the second half by
3
Coach Lester
picks
and his
and a
staff.
fumble recovery for the Blue Jays. Scotty Williams again towards the 10-yard line. He has a first down. 44 seconds to play in the third quarter.
And the Jays offense is playing with that edge that we saw early in the season in the non-conference. Offensive line really grating out some space for number 20.
1st and 10. Flag flies. There's plenty of time on the play clock. And a false start is called on this Elmhurst left tackle.
False start penalty called against Elmhurst, 5-yard penalty against the Blue Jays.
Tony is deducing something in his brain currently.
I am, as I'm looking back to 2004. All games with Millikin and Elmhurst have been within a touchdown.
Scotty Williams inside the 10-yard line on a late flag, perhaps for a face mask. Williams came up signaling right away.
Looks like we'll get a face mask here. Tim, the last time these two played at Langhorst, it was the 36-34 3-overtime thriller. There's a face mask here. Hoping the Jays can get it done in regulation today. There are lights, though, this time around. Take a look at Williams darting through.
Eric Lewis Charles brought Scotty Williams down by the face mask. It is a personal foul, half the distance to the goal, and Elmhurst is inside the 5.
Well, it's not quantifiable, but just the energy in the stadium and the energy on the field, you can feel it up here in the booth.
Clock running inside, 20 seconds to play in this third quarter. Furco hands off to Williams. Huge opening left side. Tries to stiff arm, and a flag comes in again as Mitchell Caffey in on the coverage.
Yeah, Caffey either got him around the face mask or around the horse collar area.
It is another face mask foul against Millikin.
Well, 20's a...
Face mask. Number 24. Defense. Half misses the goal. First down.
20's hard enough to stop. You may have to grab what you can. That time, Williams pressing the edge. Jay's knocking on the door.
Now it is spotted at the 2-yard line with 5 seconds to play in the quarter. Gabrus in motion. Williams off the right side. Dragged down as the third quarter comes to an end. Keith Burzak denies a touchdown. Elmhurst, though, outscores Millikin 14-3 in the third. The Blue Jay defense forces 4 turnovers, 3 picks, and a fumble. And Elmhurst is on the verge of taking the lead for the first time today as we come back in moments for the start of the fourth quarter. Millikin 24, Elmhurst 21 on Blue Jay TV.
Purchased a split the pot wrap.
I've had a great experience at Elmhurst, I really have. I think that the college is all about making the individual well-rounded, and I do think that I have grown up a lot since I've been at college. I've played soccer and I'm in the nursing program. Kind of everything just fell together. The team was just so nice and welcome. My freshman year we went to Brazil for preseason, and that was the coolest thing ever. So it was just our team. We stayed at this big soccer resort, and there was all these fields and all these little kids playing, and then we just had our own field, and we...
Second and goal for Elmhurst from the 2, trying to take the lead for the first time today. Furco is under center. Gabrus in motion, handoff to Williams, running left side, into the end zone, touchdown Elmhurst. Scotty Williams for his second rushing touchdown and third touchdown overall puts the Blue Jays in front for the first time today.
Well, Burzak and the other backers for the Millikin Big Blue, they're shooting the gaps, over pursuing the play. Great vision by Williams, able to bounce it outside and find pay dirt.
Millikin scored the first 14 points of the game. They led 21-6 at the break, but Elmhurst has come out and their defense has shut the door on the Big Blue. Spalding for the extra point. It is up to the right and just through with 14:55 to play. Elmhurst 28, Millikin 24. Let's take a look at the numbers. Elmhurst with 20 first downs in the ball game today as you look at Scotty Williams dancing into the end zone for the third time today. Total yardage, 385 for Millikin, 325 for Elmhurst. At the break, Millikin had 257 yards. 209 yards rushing for Elmhurst, 259 for Millikin. 126 through the air for the Big Blue, 116 for the Blue Jays. Scotty Williams, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns. Millikin with a pair of 100-yard rushers, Matt Holmes and Sean Dunning. Holmes with 137 yards, Dunning with 115. Holmes is 11 of 13 with 126 yards through the air, but he's also thrown 3 interceptions here in the second half. Joe Furco, meanwhile, seems to have responded after Joe Camilleri played most of the second quarter. Furco, who completed only 1 pass in the first quarter, is now 7 of 17 for 83 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick.
Well, if a message was being sent to the young quarterback there, message received. Furco has played very, very well here in the second half.
Short kick from Spalding. Blakely lumbers ahead at the 21 to receive the kickoff. Momentum will carry him out towards the 35-yard line, and the Big Blue will take over, trailing for the first time today.
How about this one, Tim? Coming into the second half, the Jays were 2 of 7 on third down. They finished the third quarter at a total of 2 of 8. So the moral of the story, score on first and second down. Don't get yourself into a third down set.
Langhorse Field in Elmhurst. Tim Calderwood with you alongside Tony Menestra. Fourth quarter. 28-24, Elmhurst with the advantage. Holmes, the quarterback. Hands off to Dunning, straight ahead. Dunning continues to push the pile towards the first down.
Millikin gashing the Jays in the A gaps on either side of the center. A little inside zone that time. Alfano not able to anchor down.
Let me ask you this, Tony. What is Millikin doing up front that is enabling them pretty much to run at will? They have 2 100-yard rushers and closing in on 300 yards rushing in the game.
Yeah, it's not an exotic package right now. They're just going hat on a hat and right now leaning on the Jays. Jays a little bit undersized. They're coming right at them.
1st and 10 from the 46. Guess what? It's Dunning again. Straight ahead for 3 more, shy of midfield at the 49. Jamal Lane and Wayne Tuckson bring down the Millikin running back.
And we haven't seen as much of a defensive lineman rotation as we have in the past. We've seen much of Vakari, Roberts, and Alfano. Chris Wild, the backup nose guard, is out today. So we've primarily seen those 3, Roberts, Alfano, and Vakari. They got to hang in there.
13:50 to play. 4th quarter. Elmhurst leading. The Blue Jays with a huge second half. A broken play for Holmes, who is hit behind the line of scrimmage. Tuckson and Roberts.
Well, Tuckson sitting on 12 tackles as you see him knife through the formation here. He's got a nose for the ball. 3rd and long. Energy level has ridden here as you can hear the crowd noise up through the mics into the booth.
13:10 to play. Holmes out of the pistol with trips to the near. He'll step up, looks to throw, and it is well over the head of Palmer, incomplete.
Tim, the stark difference in a defensive approach this second half as we get another look at the play. Watch the backside pressure. Janis breathing down his neck. Vicari on the front side. Holmes not able to set his feet. It's been the pressure of the Jays on defense. They've brought more blitz schemes, disrupted the passing game of Millikin.
Vitaly Kulik, 42 yards a punt so far. With a long one here towards the far side of the field and out of bounds.
Boy, Kulik's been pretty good today.
They'll spot it at the 19.
Well, this possession will say a lot about where you're at as an offense. Struggling early in the game. 3-3, not where you want to be in the season. What do you got? Furco will march out there with the troops.
28-24, Elmhurst with the advantage in the 4th quarter. Furco sends Gabris to the near side. Scotty Williams finds an opening across the 25-yard line.
Well, Millikin's scrambling to find any answers defensively on what to do with Williams. This time walking down safeties. They're at an 8-yard depth. Still not in a position to make a play on number 20.
Pickup of 6. 2nd and 4 for the Blue Jays. Joe Furco hands off to Williams again, changing course. Lost his legs from underneath as Moore takes down the Elmhurst runner, but not before first down. Scotty Williams rapidly approaching 200 yards today. He's at 183 with under 12 minutes to play. And Elmhurst leading 28-24. A change at running back as Andrew Tubeck is in, and Tubeck will pick up 4 yards out to the 35.
Well, Elmhurst has already eclipsed the season average allowed on the ground by the Big Blue, 212 coming into today. Between Tubeck and Williams, they're beyond that at this point. Still 11 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Big split by St. Peter. All the way out at the numbers.
2nd and 5. Here's Tubeck again. Near another first down. See if they award the first down to Tubeck or not. It is an Elmhurst first down.
Well, again, altering the pace of the game here. Coach Lester electing to go to the huddle again with Furco.
11:07 remaining. Still Tubeck behind Furco. Play fake. Furco with all day. Rodney Payton in man coverage, crossing midfield to the 45.
Good look. Put just enough mustard on that one to get it out to Payton. McCree, the strong safety who was banged up a little bit earlier, did not get under the route here. Take a look. Ends up being one-on-one for Rodney. You'll take that all day.
Third catch for Rodney Payton. 1st and 10 for the Millikin 45. Handoff to Griffin Gibson. Gibson with a seam. Gibson to the 20, to the 10, into the end zone for the touchdown.
How about that? The wheels on the halfback, fullback, Griffin Gibson. Running the veer. They've come to this a couple of times here.
First rushing touchdown of the season for Griffin Gibson.
Go get him, Griff.
And the Blue Jays add to the lead.
Statement made by this offense here in the second half. They have awoken.
Gibson, the senior, with a long run for Elmhurst. Spalding out of the hold of Jake Lincoln to try to make it an 11-point advantage. And a flag flies before the snap. False start against Elmhurst.
Well, we talked in the open how we thought there'd be some points scored today, and the Jays weren't really doing their part in the first half of today's game. They've more than made up for it here in the last 2 quarters.
How about only 3 points for Millikin in the second half? Compare that to Elmhurst, who has now scored 4 touchdowns in the second half, plus an extra point.
Well, you got to credit the kids for getting their heads right and also the coaches for making the proper adjustments at halftime. It's just been a complete shift here in the second half.
Spalding with a little bit longer of an extra point. Up and good, 35-24, 29 second half points for Elmhurst.
Well, as the band fires up here, they extend the lead to 11.
Here's the run from Gibson.
They roll the safety down here into a cover 3 look at the last minute. Safety misses the tackle there. Poor angles by the corner and Cronmiller. Gibson able to run away from him.
3 missed tackles I count on the play. As Gibson scores from 45, and the Blue Jays are now up 2 possessions. Elmhurst in the ball game, over 400 yards of offense, 277 on the ground.
Goodness gracious. Well, Millikin came to the game struggling on defense. Those numbers will get a little bit worse due to a great second half by the Jays.
Trevor Spalding's kick, short to the 22-yard line. Blakely on the return. Blakely using his speed, just racing his way across midfield. The kicker with a touchdown-saving tackle at the Elmhurst 49.
Well, you can't settle in here defensively. You got to keep the pressure on. They've brought a little bit more of a blitz look here in the second half. We'll see if they continue to do so as Millikin will spread things out and go 3 by 1.
And there's still a lot of time in this game.
No doubt about it.
10:22 to play, but Elmhurst leading 35-24. 4 turnovers and a sack now from Ryan McGuire.
Vicari got in there.
Vicari with the tackle and a sack for the Blue Jays back to the Millikin 43.
And Danny's been quiet. Look, he's going one-on-one with the right tackle. Able to just win the battle, a speed rush on the edge. He beat Dustin Moore.
Loss of 8 on the play. 2nd and 18. Holmes is hit behind the line again. Charlie Roberts, who owns an interception today. And again, the crowd feeling it here in Elmhurst.
Well, you've got a 3rd and 18 situation. As a defense, you've got to be thinking screen draw here. Defensively, I'm not so sure you don't just spy Holmes either. He's been pretty good in the open field. They'll spread it out.
3rd and 19. Holmes coming near side, well over the head of Eichenauer, incomplete.
Take a look at Coach Joe Adam, the defensive coordinator, fired up on the sideline, and they've changed their approach here in the second half. Holmes has not been able to adjust to the pressure.
Well, I don't know what went on in the locker room, but suffice it to say the following: message received.
Janice can do the Jay the real service here, getting a nice return, but it's a block.
It'll roll along the near side and out. It was blocked by Andrew Tubeck, who gingerly works his way off the field.
Well, they got 2 through onto the upbacks.
Craig Swift also came in.
Take a look. It's 3-on-2. Bad numbers for Millikin. Great opportunity for the Jays. Gets a hand on it.
Spot it at the 38 after the roll along the near sideline.
Millikin is coming unraveled here. The Jays need to take advantage. Keep the pedal down.
4 turnovers and a blocked punt. 8:55 to play.
And you get one-on-one coverage on the edge here with Rodney Payton.
35-24. Furco on an option, opts to keep. And he is hit behind the line of scrimmage for a loss on the play.
Well, some frustration setting in as you take a look at the body language of the Millikin Big Blue. Certainly this game has gotten away from them a little bit, but they're still right there. 2-score game. Jay's got to put their foot on their throat.
Furco gives to Williams. Williams down the middle to the 10, inside the 10, near the 5. Scotty Williams crossing 200 yards, rushing on the day.
Tim, you cannot say enough good things about this offensive line. Homoki, Virgil, Kirkpatrick, Stamos, Adam Smith. They are absolutely parting the Red Sea for Scotty Williams. Take a look at the vision and his ability to get downfield.
Or perhaps the Big Blue Sea.
I like it.
8:07 to play. 35-24, and the Blue Jays are looking for their 5th second-half touchdown. Williams off to the right side, reaching towards the end zone. Ball comes free, and it is a touchback. Should be Millikin ball off of the second Elmhurst turnover it is.
Wow, what a break for Millikin. That time Scotty not securing the football. We'll see if we can get another look at it. Not the best angle. But they run a little wham play here where they bring Griffin across the formation.
He lost it at the 1-yard line as Cronmiller forced the fumble. Gabris pursued, but it ended up out of bounds for a touchback in the second Elmhurst turnover. So they cannot convert on the blocked punt.
Well, nothing's easy against Millikin. These last 7 years have been exciting.
7:48 remaining. Holmes over the middle, complete to Eichenauer, hit immediately. Marvin Carr stops Eichenauer after a first down for a pickup of 12 out to the 32.
And Millikin has found a way to stop the bleeding. Now they just have to try to keep the ball. Be safe with it, does Holmes. Move the ball down the field. Jay's defense has got to keep bringing pressure.
Midway point of the fourth quarter. Johnson shows pressure and Millikin jumps. Eric Whitaker, the right guard for Millikin, saw Johnson coming and came out of his stance early.
Well, you can't worry about the clock if you're the defense. You've got to play your stuff. 2-score lead, still be aggressive. Man-to-man coverage by the Jays.
1st and 15. Holmes pressured and dropped. John Janis. George DeMaria helps out as well for the Blue Jays, who come up with another sack.
DeMaria's had a heck of a game. He came into the 4th quarter with 10 tackles. This time a part of that sack there.
Tell you, one of the things Elmhurst has done defensively here in the second half has been blitz. They're putting more and more pressure on Matt Holmes.
Holmes clearly uncomfortable in that position. They'll spread things out here again.
2nd and 20 from the 22. 4 wide. Here comes Heat again. And the catch is made by Blakely. Marvin Carr tried for the interception, and Blakely won the battle and nearly picked up a first down as well.
You're okay here if you're Marvin Carr. You're making a play on the ball. I don't mind that aggressiveness. Now go ahead and make the play on the receiver. Johnson helps him out a little bit, but some pressure that time. You want to jump that route.
Gain of 20, first down for the Big Blue.
McGuire almost got a mid on that ball. Boy, I'm surprised that Millikin's going 4 wide here and hasn't brought in any tight ends to help out Holmes.
Have become one-dimensional, though. But as soon as I say that, Holmes uses his legs to pick up a first down on the Elmhurst side, but it was a design pass. He felt the pressure and had to roll out.
Yeah, he's a grinder. There's no doubt about it. Take a look here. Plenty of time this time. Only electing to rush 3 are the Jays. Holmes seems more comfortable tucking it down.
You know, I'll say this for Holmes. He hasn't forced the ball at all today. The interceptions have been a couple of tips and a play made by a Blue Jay.
Yeah, he definitely understands his skill set. No doubt about it.
Under 6 minutes left. 35-24, Elmhurst the lead. Here comes the Heat again. And once more, it's Holmes pushed away. Holmes out of bounds inside the 40.
Well, they're making it just a 5-on-5 game here as they're rushing the 3-down linemen are the Jays, and they're bringing outside pressure. Holmes able to squeak free.
Pickup of 8 on the play. 2nd and 2 at the 39-yard line. Dunning behind Holmes. Tucks in with the Heat.
Wayne.
Pass is complete. Eric Toby down the far sideline and into the end zone.
Get the elusiveness of Holmes, Tim. You mentioned it a little bit earlier in the drive. Got away from Tuckson.
I don't know that he was even the intended target. We'll wait until after the extra point to see the replay. There were 2 receivers in the area.
They call him out? No, they're running up for 2 here. Yep, touchdown's good.
35-30, Millikin will try to pull within a field goal.
Certainly a big-time play here, but you're right. The creativity of Holmes out of the pocket, generating some offense for the Big Blue.
Elmhurst was successful on a 2-point conversion earlier. Motion from Eichenauer to the near side. Heat coming. Back of the end zone towards Eichenauer. He made the catch, but he was out of bounds.
Well, big play by the defense. It forces a 6-pointer to beat you now. See if we get another look at the touchdown.
27-24, Augustin over North Park. That's a final. Here's the 39-yard touchdown.
Wayne Tuckson has him there.
See, there's 2 receivers crossing.
Oh, boy.
That's a busted play.
No doubt. Well,
Eichenauer ducked
plays
out of the way.
Just defeated number 16, University of Chicago. Blue Jays at home on Tuesday, hosting Illinois.
And the touchdown for the Big Blue. Now, Tony, with 5:15 to play, you have 3 timeouts. Got to go deep here, or do you try the onside this early?
No, I think you have plenty of time, but the problem for the Millikin defense is, and it's been this way all year, and especially against Scotty Williams, is you can't stop the run. They've run a few different combination looks. 8-man box, 7-man box with 2 high safeties. They cannot find the right combination. Jays are sending out their hands team, though, preparing for the onside either way.
North Central now leading in Bloomington 24-0, third quarter.
Problem with the hands team here is you have some gaps. Of course, you line up a ton of blue jerseys along the 40, but just in beside the 50, you've got Rodney Payton setting on the shield, 2-back all the way back. A lot of green space out there between the 50, the 40, and the 30.
Brett Schneider lining up to kick it away with 5:15 to play. 35-30, Elmhurst the lead. Brett Schneider airborne towards Payton, who actually lined up as the up man. Payton from the 20 follows 2-back to the 30-yard line, and he will be taken down at the 33.
Well, here's the true test of the two programs. Millikin cannot stop the run, and Elmhurst is one of the better running teams in the country. You know both teams have to do one or the other. So it's will against will here. Millikin opening an 8-man box. Safeties all the way walk down.
Joe Furco remains in the game at quarterback. Remember early on, Joe Camilleri, the true freshman, saw the bulk of action in the second quarter. Scotty Williams across the 35.
Well, this offensive line, here's the true test. Can you move the football on the ground when everyone in the stadium knows that's what you're doing?
Williams with 227 yards on the ground today for the Blue Jays. Just shy of his season high of 235.
Still good for the 5th best all-time performance in a single game.
Here's the veer. This time it's Vince Gabris out of the H-back slot out to the 45. Vince Gabris will pick up the first down for Elmhurst.
Scotty Williams shows up twice in the top 5 in terms of single-game rushing performance. You mentioned the 235 game against North Park, just past Ted Mosier. It's North Central in 1969 for the 5th most yards in a single game.
10th carry of the season for Gabris. Elmhurst will start to utilize some clock here with 4:05 remaining, up 5, 35-30. A 1st and 10. Scotty Williams spinning towards midfield. Tack on 5 more to the total for Scotty Williams today.
And no hurry for the Jays as they'll continue to slow the pace down here a little bit. Scotty will get a blow.
Single game record for Elmhurst, 255 yards belonging to Derek Walker. Ironically set against Millikin in 1995. Williams with 230 on the ground today with 3:20 remaining. The Blue Jays milking the clock. Gabris works his way around a tackler as Millikin could not wrap him up. But Gabris picks up a yard and Millikin will take their first time out with Elmhurst facing a 3rd down.
Perhaps the Jays went to the well one too many times that time. Defense sniffed it out. Take a look, a lot of front side pressure by the Big Blue. Not enough blue jerseys to account for the Millikin defenders. Gabris had to scramble a bit.
In the 3rd quarter, North Central 24, Illinois Wesleyan 0.
3:05 remaining, 35-30. Elmhurst with the lead and the ball. 2 timeouts left for Millikin, 3 for Elmhurst. Blue Jays have their full allotment remaining today if needed. They're going to put 3:07 on the clock, so they'll add 2 to the total. I'm Tim Calder alongside Tony Menestra here on Blue Jay TV. Want to let you know that we will be heading to North Central next week for at the very least an audio broadcast under the lights from Benedetti Worley Stadium. Possibly may have some video for you as well. Stay tuned to the Elmhurst College Athletic website for further details. Twitter.com/Elmhurst Blue Jay. That's the Twitter feed of Elmhurst Athletics. Big 3rd down upcoming. The Millikin fans make some noise.
Well, it's 2-back on the field, not Scotty Williams. Wonder if he's dinged up here a little bit after the timeout.
3rd and 4 from the Millikin 49. Movement up
And
front.
offsides.
No flag. Furco cycled away from the pocket, will throw. That pass is intercepted at the 44.
Boy, how in the world was there no flag thrown for offsides?
It's Cody Acree again, his second of the game.
Poor decision by Furco that time. Got to put the ball into the sidelines. Go ahead and punt the ball away. We'll get another look. They go with the boot. Well defended. Terrible decision by the junior quarterback.
Marquette Moore with a lot of pressure on Joe Furco. And a turnover, hands the Big Blue the ball with 2:58 to play, down 35-30.
Well, you know the plan defensively. The blitz packages have been getting to Holmes.
3 wide to the near. Dunning straight ahead to midfield. Picks up 6 yards. Well, this is where the missed 2-point conversion comes into play, because now Millikin needs a touchdown to take the lead rather than a field goal, which could have tied it had they been successful on the 2-point conversion try following their last score. 2nd and 4. Holmes scoots away, and Charlie Roberts will drop him behind the line for a sack back at the 42. Timeout, Millikin with 2:25.
Ton of credit goes to the defensive secondary here, forcing Holmes to pull it down. Janice forcing the issue. Charlie Roberts finishing up. Roberts has had a heck of a game today. Boy, Tim, this game harkens back to last year. A 25-point lead for the Jays. Certainly not that deep here today were the Big Blue, but 25 points in the fourth quarter. Big Blue scored 3 touchdowns to pull within 6 points last year. Ended up losing the game 40-34, but no shortage of fireworks here in this matchup.
2:25 remaining. Millikin down to 1 timeout. ElmhurstBlueJays.com, the official Elmhurst College athletic website. And again, next week we will be coming to you from Benedetti Worley Stadium under the lights.
What do you have, a 24-0 game still?
It is still indeed 24-0 North Central late in the 3rd.
Boy, we got a close look at Wesleyan a week ago, and good-looking program, the defense especially, says something about that North Central outfit that they're able to shut out Wesleyan.
They do have a 2nd and goal on the North Central 7. Here we have a 3rd and 11 for Millikin from their own 43. The Blue Jays bring the heat. Holmes is flushed. Holmes will run. He wants a block. Has it along the far side. Still on his feet inside the 30 down to the 27-yard line. A big gainer on a busted play for Holmes, who has been tough to bring down today.
Well, the best play so far today for the Big Blue have just been like playground ball. Just go ahead and go downfield, and I'll just run it. How about that? Holmes that time able to find some space, direct his blockers. Moves the ball deep down to Jay's territory.
Over 150 yards on the ground for Holmes to go along with nearly 200 yards through the air. 1st and 10 Millikin, 2 minutes to play. Holmes stepping up with time, throwing out of the reach of the open Mike Blakely.
Every one of these Millikin receivers wants a flag every time the ball's in the air. Holmes this time gets some protection, able to step into a throw, just overthrows Blakely.
And he was wide open, covered by Johnson. 1:54 remaining, 2nd and 10 for Millikin.
And Millikin will be in 4-down territory, so you can certainly run the ball here on 2nd and 10. Elmhurst defense has got to play it honest.
Palmer, Eichenauer, and Blakely, the 3 wide to the near side. All by himself is Toby on the far. It is a run for Dunning. Off the left side, Jamal Lane steps up to stop him after a pickup of 6.
Wayne Tuxon can thank Jamal later. Wayne was coming off the back edge, unblocked, overran the play. Dunning came underneath it. Take a look.
It is a 3rd down for the Big Blue from the Elmhurst 23.
Sprint out here by Holmes.
Holmes dropped the snap. He steps up. Pressure coming from Janis. Throws a lollipop towards the near corner. Eric Toby with the catch inside the 5. With 1:17 remaining. And Mike Blakely is down at the 5-yard line for the Big Blue. How do they not tackle him here?
What in the world is going on here? Take a look at this. Holmes able to squeak out. Floats one out there. Unbelievable.
Patrick Atherton, first-year head coach of the Big Blue. The first coach out to check on Blakely, who is down at the 5-yard line. 35-30, Millikin trailing with 1:17 to play. The Big Blue have the ball inside the Elmhurst 10-yard line. After what's really been a disastrous second half for Millikin, 4 turnovers and a blocked punt, they still find themselves in position here. Get another look again at the play from Holmes.
Well, it's been the creativity and the versatility of the quarterback, able to extend the play this time. Puts the ball deep inside the 5-yard line. Jays are going to have to shut the door again.
Millikin with 1 timeout remaining with 1:17 to play. As Elmhurst holds the lead at 35-30.
Well, you look at the overall series history of these two teams. We talk about the last 7 years as Blakely gets up on his feet. This will be the 56th meeting between the two schools. Millikin has a significant lead of 42-13, but the Blue Jays have won 3 of the last 4. Looking to hang on here today at Langhorst.
Blakely is up under his own power. Walking off of the field, that's good to see. What an eventful second half here at Langhorst Field today. Elmhurst trying to hang on at home.
Well, 1 timeout left for the Big Blue, but 3 for the Jays. I think if you're on defense, you have to think about using them. Worst case scenario is Millikin gets in. You have to save yourself some time. Millikin may elect to run the football here.
Certainly have an opportunity. Dunning is the lone back. Holmes keeps. Holmes to the end zone. Touchdown Millikin with 1:12 remaining. As Holmes finds the end zone for the second time as a runner. And Millikin will retake the lead. He has 2 touchdowns on the ground, 3 touchdowns through the air for the Big Blue, who will line up to go for 2 here in the fourth quarter with 1:12 to play.
It's been a one-man show for Holmes. 215 and 161. Goodness gracious.
2-point conversion attempt for Millikin.
To try to ensure that a field goal cannot beat the Big Blue. Holmes for 2. Pump fake. Rolls right. Flushed away. Throws over the middle and incomplete. Out of the reach of Eichenauer.
Tough kid to bring down, this Holmes, as he heads off to his sideline. Take a look here. It's the touchdown play. Janis had him dead to rights, not able to bring him down. Well, you've got yourself set up with a 1-point deficit here for Spalding to possibly get you a victory. 1:12 and 3 timeouts in your pocket.
You talk about Trevor Spalding, Tony, and he has been extremely solid for the Blue Jays. In his first year as the kicker, 6 of 6 with a long of 40. So you're looking at probably trying to reach just shy of the red zone, the 23-yard, for that 40-yard attempt. And not to mention that Millikin has not been kicking to Rodney Payton today, so the Blue Jays have been receiving some decent field position as well.
But you're at the point in the game time-wise with 1:12 here and somewhere probably around a minute with the offense on the field where you may be limited in what you can do running the football. Scotty Williams has been your guy.
Brett Snyder will put it down. He kicks deep to John Janis from the 12.
Come on, Johnny.
Janis up the middle. Janis crossing the 30. Janis out near the 40-yard line. Strong return for Janis of almost 30 yards. Christian Silva drags him to the turf. And the Blue Jays, as we mentioned, trailing 36-35, can win it with a field goal. They have to cover Almost 40 yards or so to give themselves definite Spalding territory.
And as we say that, the wind kicks up and the flags are drifting in the opposite direction.
Furco looking to throw to Payton. Payton at the Millikin 40, spinning away. Jacob Alvis with the stop, a first down for the Blue Jays, who do have 3 timeouts remaining, and they'll use one here with 59 seconds to go. Buckle up.
Well, Payton getting underneath the cover 4 look there. Quarters look by Millikin. They've not shown much man-to-man at all today. A lot of zone coverage, and Furco's had to work underneath.
Furco has been extremely solid, though, for the Blue Jays here in the second half.
Boy, after a slow start, 1 for 5 at the end of the first quarter. Take a look here.
7 in the first half only.
Very deep, very conservative coverage by the Big Blue that time.
Kind of surprising that you conservative coverage against Rodney Payton especially. 2 timeouts remaining for Elmhurst, 1 for Millikin. 36-35, Big Blue in front. 59.1 to play at Langhorst Field on this Saturday.
Daryl Mitchell will go chase down Payton on the far side of the field.
Furco dropping back, stepping up, throwing deep, just out of the reach of Payton, incomplete. He was again in single coverage against Daryl Mitchell.
Well, I like where Furco put the ball on the outside shoulder. Mitchell overplaying the inside, perhaps using the sideline to his advantage. Good spot by Furco. Payton just got his feet tangled up.
Not a bad idea to take the shot there. 2nd and 10, and again we're looking at the 20-yard line as a potential spot for Trevor Spalding, now kicking into the wind that has picked up a bit here at Langhorst Field. Furco over the middle to Payton, a sliding catch at the 30 for a first down.
That'll momentarily stop the clock as they move the sticks here, just under 50 seconds to go in the game.
Rodney Payton with 2 catches on the drive. Clock running at 45 seconds. Furco looking for Payton, skipped it in, incomplete. 39.3 to go.
You certainly don't want to have to count on a field goal to win it. You put the pressure on Spalding. You'd like to go for the 6 here. But you also have to play a little bit conservative with the football if you're Furco. You don't want to force it into a host of white jerseys.
Wouldn't be a bad time for a screen play to Scotty Williams.
Or a draw play.
39.3. Furco feels the heat. He will run. Furco inside the 20, on his feet and out of bounds at the 13. They are in field goal range for Trevor Spalding with 31 6/10 to play. It's spotted at the 14 and a 1st and 10.
Great move by Furco to dip inside. I was a little bit worried he wasn't going to make it to the sideline. They'd have to burn a timeout.
Now let me ask you this. Do you play for the 3 here?
Now, I think you keep the pedal down here. You do not want to count on the kicker, although he's been terrific this year. You've got the Millikin Big Blue on their heels. Keep attacking.
Single coverage on Gentile to the near side. Furco looking that way as he handles the snap, rolls left, looks right, wide open. Gabris, touchdown Elmhurst. Vince Gabris wide open. Just like that, Elmhurst takes less than a minute to march down the field and retake the lead.
Great play coming back, and you know Coach Lester had this one in his back pocket. Gabris, the H-back, slips across the coverage. No one accounting for him. Rodney Payton drew 3 defenders across the formation, and Gabris snuck through.
3rd touchdown, or 3rd catch of the day for Gabris, his 2nd touchdown of the year.
And this is a big 2-point conversion here as well. Up 5 currently.
27.1. Now Spalding will come on. Or will he? We'll have a timeout, it looks like. Spalding came jogging on initially, or St. Peter was jogging on. Timeout Elmhurst after a little bit of personnel issues here.
Well, I'm going to tell you, with just under 30 seconds to go, Millikin still has a timeout, and with the elusiveness of Holmes, this game is not over till zeros are on the board.
3rd touchdown pass of the day for Joe Furco, all to different receivers. Scotty Williams, Vince Gabris, and Joe St. Peter. Let's take a second look at the score.
Well, you take a look at Gabbers. He's your up back to the right of Furco. Just runs a wheel route in behind a post. Peyton draws a lot of attention. Nobody accounts for Gabbers.
Double coverage on Peyton is what left Gabbers wide open for the touchdown. And the Blue Jays back in front here in the fourth quarter with time winding down, trying to work their way back over the 500 mark.
Well, 5 second-half touchdowns by the Jays. What an answer back after a very lackluster first 2 quarters today.
Trying to snap a 2-game slide after losing to Wheaton and also last week to Illinois Wesleyan. Play fake for Furco, rolling out.
Got him down.
Is he in bounds? Yes. Joe St. Peter hauls in the 2-point conversion.
Well, I thought they may come backside to Rodney Payton. He had one-on-one coverage and a short split. May have gone with the fade. Decided to roll it out and go to St. Peter.
Nice comeback to get to the football.
How about getting the feet down there, too? That gives you a little bit of breathing room. 7-point lead here.
Oof. 6 plays, 61 yards, 45 seconds for Elmhurst to retake the lead. The 2-point conversion makes it a touchdown advantage at 43-36 with 27.1 to play. Mike Blakely had a very strong return for Millikin the last time he touched the ball on a kickoff. We'll see what happens here for the Blue Jays with Trevor Spalding teeing it up at the 30-yard line.
Tim, we've referenced the back-and-forth nature of this series over the past 7 years numerous times throughout the broadcast, and today, this Saturday afternoon, no disappointment. Right on par with what we've seen.
Last 5 meetings decided by less than a touchdown. Holding suit again today. It's a short kick to the 22-yard line. Handled there by Darryl Mitchell. Mitchell out to the 35. And the Big Blue with 20.6 have the ball, trailing by a TD.
Great job pinning him in here. Well, no field goal. It's got to be a touchdown, and you're about 65 yards away, depending on where they spot the football. 1 timeout left for the Big Blue.
Matt Holmes for Millikin has been huge in the game today. Holmes with 2 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. Almost 400 total yards. Passing here. Over the middle for Blakely. Broken up on the play. Great coverage from Marvin Carr. May have timed it just perfectly.
Well, it's cover 3, and they get just inside the corner this time. Marvin Carr, perfect position, not even in contact with the receiver. Blakely flailing, but good call, good non-call by the referee.
Palmer was also open over the middle if they wanted to go a little bit shorter. 15.3 remaining, 2nd and 10 for the Big Blue.
Well, that last defensive call shows the respect that the defensive coordinator Joe Adam has for Matt Holmes and his running ability. They committed 3 linebackers to the box to spy Holmes.
Timeout on the field. It is Elmhurst's final timeout with 15.3 remaining.
Well, you certainly need to get a few safeties back. Protect against the deep ball here, but you got to be wary of the broken play. Matt Holmes has shown some ability to break a big one here as he gets loose. Contain rush and using a linebacker to spy is probably your best approach.
(43-36). Millikin does have a timeout remaining and just over 15 seconds to play. Elmhurst trying to even their CCIW record at 2-2.
Well, Marvin Carr's had a pretty good day today. He's out there at corner along with Ryan Johnson, Chikungle, Jamal Lane, and Janice. They'll round out the secondary.
Jerry Beach trying to fire up the crowd. Holmes on 2nd and 10, looking to throw near side. It is in and out of the hands.
Oh, boy, it was a shoulder hit. They're going to throw a flag on Jamal Lane.
The field judge threw the flag.
I'm not quite sure what this penalty is is all about. Jamal Lane did not lead with his helmet. He led with his shoulder. Clearly a play on the receiver.
Personal foul against Elmhurst.
We, of course, have the benefit of replay. Take another look at home here.
Personal foul penalty against Elmhurst.
I don't see what the issue is here.
Late hit out of bounds. That was what the call of a personal foul was for.
Late hit out of bounds. I don't quite understand that one when the receiver doesn't even have the football. Take a look.
10.4 seconds to play.
Jamal is actually in the air when the ball is going through the hands of the receiver.
Millikin ball at the Elmhurst 49. Holmes with pressure coming from Roberts. Throws to Eichenauer out of bounds at the 37-yard line. But 5 seconds tick off the clock. 5.6 remaining, a first down for the Big Blue.
Well, you got to take a shot. You do have a timeout. Perhaps you can get a slant in or a quick out.
The only thing I can think of is a quick out for a timeout. Instead, they'll use their final timeout
They'll use it here, yeah.
There's the completion to Eichenauer, who has been a frequented target of Holmes today. Eichenauer with 5 catches. Both teams now are out of timeouts with 5.6 remaining in the shootout. Elmhurst 43, Millikin 36. Elmhurst dominated the second half. They were down 21-6 at the break. 4 Millikin turnovers in the third quarter led to Elmhurst taking the lead. And the Blue Jays were actually up 11 before Millikin came storming back. Scored consecutive touchdowns to take a 36-35 lead. And then Elmhurst needed only 45 seconds with just over a minute remaining to march down and score a touchdown to retake the advantage at 43-36.
Matt Holmes, the quarterback, is knocking on the door of 400 total yards between his rushing and passing. This will be his last play, most likely. Under 6 seconds and no timeouts to go.
Spotted at the 37. Trips to the near side. Dunning among them. Also Toby and Eichenauer. Extra blocker for Holmes, who is shoved away, spinning around and just throws up a prayer towards the end zone, batted around and intercepted. Elmhurst ends the game with the 5th turnover of the second half, I believe. It was Chikungle with the interception. Yes, Chikungle emerges with the football. It was batted around a bit, and there was actually an open Millikin receiver in the area of the deflection.
Got a little worried here as my heart skipped a beat as the ball bounced out of it. Another outstanding job by Holmes. Gave himself a chance, and if it wasn't for Holmes today.
Look at, there's a white jersey right there.
Goodness gracious.
All by himself. It was the wide open Eric Toby, but fortunately Chikungle recorded the interception, and the Blue Jays will ring the victory bell at home following a thrilling 43-36 win over Millikin today.
And you've just got to think that this game means a little bit more than just a victory and moving to 4-3. Jays have been kind of real in the last couple of weeks. Not really seeing the Jays that we thought we would this season. We'll see if this game propels them moving forward and on through the season.
Not only that, but take a look at the way they played in the first half. I mean, that's easily the best half of offensive football that we've seen from Elmhurst in quite some time, since probably the North Park showdown. 43-36 the final for the Blue Jays, who came out strong after the break. We're down 21-6 at halftime. Marched down the field 61 yards to score the winning touchdown after squandering a 35-24 lead, allowing Millikin to score consecutive touchdowns and take the lead. The Blue Jays made it look easy, recording the victory here today by the final of 43-36. We'll take a look at some final numbers here in a moment before we say fare thee well. Elmhurst will be on the road in the next 2 showdowns. They have a date with North Central next week, and we'll be there at the very least to provide you audio, potentially video as well. Again, check out ElmhurstBlueJays.com for details this week as that comes a little bit closer. And then the Elmhurst squad will find themselves headed on the road to Augustana before wrapping up the season here at home on November 12th against Carthage at 1 o'clock. Here are the final numbers in the game. Elmhurst with a 43-36 victory. Scotty Williams matches his season high, 235 yards on the ground. Both teams were over 300 yards rushing in the game today. 349 for Elmhurst, 314 for Millikin. Both teams over 500 yards of offense today. 542 for Millikin, including 228 through the air. 525 for Elmhurst, including 176 yards passing. Joe Furco, 11 of 24, 143 yards. 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Matt Holmes, 16 of 29, 228 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 4 picks, including the desperation heave at the end of the ball game today. Big Blue with 2 100-yard rushers. Matt Holmes, 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sean Dunning, 140 yards on the ground as well. Receiving-wise, Joe Furco did a very good job of spreading the ball around. Rodney Payton, 5 catches, 65 yards, but never the big one. His 3 touchdown passes were to 3 different receivers, Vince Gabbers, Scotty Williams, and Joe St. Peter. Eric Toby with 6 catches, 84 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Millikin. Tommy Eichenauer, 5 catches, 80 yards, and a score as well. Millikin wins the time of possession battle, 33-47 to 26-13. The Big Blue were 7 of 15 on third down. Elmhurst 2 of 9 in the contest today. Penalties became an issue a little bit in the second half, 7 for Millikin, 5 for Elmhurst, each for an identical total of 46 yards. The Blue Jays, though, are victorious as they head off of the field here at Langhorst with a 43-36 victory. And Tony, as we finish things up here, the story of the second half, the performance of the defense to start the second half and really give Elmhurst a chance. And then, how about the improved performance of Joe Furco, who sat in the second quarter for true freshman Joe Camilleri?
Yeah, sent a message very early on about the coaching staff that your performance is not going to be able to carry us through to the victory. Joe responded in the second half. 3 touchdowns, like you mentioned, but he did it. He didn't do it alone. The defense helped out a lot, like you mentioned, and we're looking at 2 teams here today really struggling to scrape their way into the top tier of the conference. Elmhurst made a statement here today.
The Blue Jays with a big third quarter, scoring a couple of touchdowns, really setting the tone for the frenetic finish of the fourth as Elmhurst records the 43-36 victory. Game-winning drive, 6 plays, 61 yards in 45 seconds after Millikin had scored moments earlier with 1:12 to play on a 6-yard run from Matt Holmes, who did record 5 touchdowns in the game for the Big Blue. 43-36, Elmhurst on top with the victory. The Blue Jays snap a 2-game slide and sit 4-3 in the CCIW. Up next, a very, very tough challenge against what appears to be the leaders of the CCIW all by themselves, North Central, who in the fourth quarter is on top of Illinois Wesleyan 24-0. Under the lights next week at 7 o'clock, we will definitely have audio for you from Benedetti Worley Stadium, perhaps video, and again, details coming on that for you later this week. In the meantime, that is all we have for you in our football portion today. There will be a doubleheader of soccer action coming your way. The women kick off at 5 and the men follow shortly thereafter at 7 as Elmhurst and Wheaton will battle in soccer, and both of those matches will be carried for you here on Blue Jay TV as well. For our entire crew, producer-director Glenn, cameraman Phil, and for my partner Tony Minestra, I'm Tim Calderwood. Thanks for watching. Elmhurst 43, Millikin 36. Have a good one.